Hello everyone, this is Laura from Astropositive, and I'm glad to welcome you here to discuss the astrology of the month of June 2026. We are almost already there, because it's the 31st of May, the day I'm recording this, okay? And there's a lot to talk about, because this month, for one, we have, well, 3 lunations to discuss, considering the one that's occurring right now on the 31st. Today there is the day of the full moon in Sagittarius at almost 10 degrees of Sagittarius, and this will leave its imprint over the next 2 weeks to follow. So let's take a look at the chart. As you can see there, it is a full moon in Sagittarius. So a full moon is always a sort of a crisis or culmination, as I like to say. And this time it's occurring in terms of a quest for meaning or goals in life. Also communication, exchanges or traveling will also feature because of the sun that is in Gemini, okay? A sign ruled by Mercury. And the combination of these two, Sagittarius and Gemini, will make us feel more alive, and actually probably already did. The full moons are already felt like roughly 3 days before the exact date, okay? And probably it got us out of isolation and also exposed us to some important information that might have reached us. And this might have sent us on a new course of thinking about the future. This might also have brought about some deep reflection, okay, about where we stand in life and where we want to go. As you can see, this full moon is actually opposite Uranus, and this probably was a piece of information that jolted us awake, okay? Probably it's coming from the outside, so it's not like us taking a radical decision, but others forcing this decision on us. Because usually opposition means something is occurring from the outside that puts pressure on us to change. So with Uranus, it will be something out of left field a little bit, in order to wake us and also to, to make us pay attention to it. Okay, so with the full moon, there might have been a few days that were a bit anxiety-ridden, so to speak. Also exhilarating, liberating. Probably they brought a new, fresh perspective that is opening up new avenues, of thought. And with the opposition to Uranus and the full moon, of course, which is quite a high-intensity energy, we might all have reacted a bit impulsively or out of character, and we might have shown impatience and maybe perhaps a bit of overreaction too, okay? And this was particularly true for the last 3 days, okay? Starting from the 29th to today, the 31st. This full moon is also squaring the North Node, actually the nodal axis. And with the square to the North Node, it means that we are facing a decision that compels us to balance between the 2 poles, okay? The South Node, which is the familiar, the soothing, the reliable and secure, and the North Node, which is the new and the challenging, and actually the direction more or less that we are supposed to go towards. This full moon also, it's making quite a lot of aspects. It's also trining Neptune and Saturn, okay? With the trine to Neptune, we are in an idealistic frame of mind with some spiritual undertones, and we can allow ourselves to dream a little, okay? And with the trine to Saturn at the same time, we might have the opportunity to bring those dreams into reality, okay, to act on them. We will not waver from doing our duty. We will be responsible, we will work steadily and patiently towards this goal that is represented by our dream. And again, this full moon, it's also sextiling Pluto, okay? And with the sextile to Pluto, this means that at this time, the full moon is reinforcing our sense of self, okay? This puts us also on a path to empowerment, because with Pluto always we are gaining, perspective and also a wider influence. So we are overall gaining in self-confidence. And as you can see, Pluto being conjunct Juno, this full moon also makes a sextile to Juno. And this is beneficial for any committed relationships. This is strengthening ties, based perhaps on a rational evaluation of the situation, because Juno is in Aquarius right now, quite a cerebral sign, okay, that is not easily swayed by emotions, okay. It's leaning towards the rational. And actually, as maybe you don't see right away, but we can deduce from this position, this full moon is occurring at the midpoint between Venus and Mars. And actually, no, sorry, between Venus and Pluto. And actually, this means in material terms, big expenses, you know, money that may be an issue right now because of increased needs, because of increased, you know, wants, actually, desires. And also in emotional terms, that might mean deep commitments based on a strongly held passion, and also, you know, values that run deep. And with Juno, of course, this overall means deep feelings that render, you know, stable relationships even more stable and committed. This full moon also occurs at the midpoint between Mars and Saturn, and this means that tenacity and perseverance is, you know, are rewarded right now. And with Mars and Saturn, of course, some frustration might become acute, but the message here is don't give up. With Mars and Saturn, we will be, you know, ready to fight for our wants and needs to the end. And of course, the full moon being in Sagittarius, its ruler is Jupiter, okay? And Jupiter right now, it's still in Cancer, where it is exalted, which actually gives more strength and a better, you know, outcome, you know, that we can expect from this situation. And Jupiter is also squaring Chiron, and it has been for quite some time. And this basically means that a sore point will be touched at this full moon precisely. A sore point that will expose a weakness. It might have to do with a weakness in self-assertion because Chiron is in Aries. So for quite some time with this square between Jupiter and Chiron, we couldn't find the proper balance between the need to, you know, assert ourselves, to assert our rights, and actually do it in a socially acceptable way without vexing anyone, okay? And at this time, we have to be particularly careful not to explode out of nowhere because of this opposition with Uranus, okay? Keep your calm and try to assess the situation and don't go overboard with your reactions. Actually, with Jupiter in Cancer, this tendency to overreact might already have expressed itself or might express itself today in the family dynamic, okay? In the family setting. Or in relationship to a feminine figure, perhaps your mother. And on a more mundane level, this square, you know, of Jupiter to Chiron at the time of this full moon can be about a health issue with Chiron always. That might affect perhaps your digestion. Why not? Because Jupiter is in Cancer, which rules the digestive system. Okay, there are multiple levels on which we can read our, you know, our charts and also mundane charts like this lunation. Anyway, to wrap it up, this full moon gives the tone for the next 2 weeks, of course, to follow. And this time it puts an accent on travel, on expansion, on finding meaning, on receiving important and unexpected information also. That will propel us towards a position of power and influence. The way there actually goes through some, you know, uplifting experiences that raise our spiritual awareness in Sagittarius and with the trine to Neptune. But this won't happen without some serious self-discipline with the trine to Saturn, and also openly admitting our shortcomings because of the square of Jupiter to Chiron. Okay, I hope I made myself clear because it's a bit of an intricate chart to discuss. Okay, then we have the new moon. That is happening on the 15th of June. Sorry, just a minute so I can show the chart. Okay, on the 15th of June, and it's happening at 24 degrees of Gemini, okay? So this time, the new moon, of course, it's a new beginning, and this time, this starts with a communication and information, something, learning something new, okay? Because it's in Gemini. And this heralds in 2 very busy weeks, because Gemini is a bit of a hyperactive sign. That's a bit all over the place, I must say, because it's trying to cover as much surface as possible, you know, in as short a time as possible, okay? So it's not dwelling too long on one subject. Likewise, we are in danger of spreading ourselves too thin at this time. The challenge here will be to keep our focus, you know, and not let ourselves be distracted by everything shiny here and there. Okay, so as we see in this chart, This new moon doesn't make a lot of aspects. Actually, it makes no aspect at all. So this is all the more reason to fear not being anchored enough at this time. We might just go with the flow and discover much while doing this. But it will feel like a bit like drifting aimlessly, okay, if you don't make a conscious effort to stay on track and to follow one subject. So right now, with this new moon in Gemini, that is peregrine, so to speak, so without aspects, it's a time just to learn and to experiment. Feel free to let your mind wander and, try to select the subjects that are interesting to you and go deeper inside them. Okay, this new moon actually is occurring at the midpoint of Mars to Jupiter. And this is, of course, an energetic, bold impulse, towards change. Because with Mars, we are willing to act on something, to develop something. Sorry, I'm suffering from my hay fever right at the moment. So it's a bit of a challenge trying not to sneeze. Okay, also this new moon, it's situated at the midpoint of Saturn and Uranus. And this means like a radical departure from previous plans, because Saturn and Uranus together, it's a high tension aspect, okay? Or a radical change in our way of thinking. This new moon occurring in Gemini, of course, is ruled by Mercury. That it's also actually in, it's in Cancer right now. It was in Gemini before, but Mercury is in Cancer. So we are motivated at this time by matters of affection, by matters, domestic matters. And the bonds with our family might be strengthened at this time also. So this new start concerns very much our situation within a family, or a family dynamic, or perhaps our life at home. And Mercury itself is making several aspects. It's making notably a sextile to Mars, which makes us more energetic, driven, mobile also. We can take the lead and the initiative at this time. So the message is, don't wait for things to work on their own, because with a sextile to Mars, we are supposed to do something about our problems. We should be proactive at this time. And again, Mercury is squaring Saturn. It's a separating aspect, okay, but still active. And probably it's about previous worries, previous, hard lessons that should guide us now towards more wisdom. Perhaps this new beginning is grounded by a serious decision that we are supposed to take right now that is based on some hard-won experience. So probably at this time we will choose wisely, if perhaps, we will be a little bit on the negative side, on the pessimistic side, okay? So in short, this new moon, it's about new chapters of learning, of educating ourselves, why not, with no shortcuts taken, because with the square to Saturn, we're supposed to go, the hard way. As the Latin said, per aspera ad astra, okay? Which means through, the rough way towards the stars, okay? So at this time, we are supposed to think about these serious matters. And the new information that we'll get at this time will pertain to our domestic life, most likely, and also impact our family directly. Last but not least, we have a full moon that is happening also at the end of the month on the 30th. Okay, just a minute, I'm displaying this chart. Okay, it will happen at 8 degrees of Capricorn Cancer. And this full moon, of course, it's a crisis or culmination, as I'm saying, regarding our ambitions in life, because Capricorn is a cardinal sign, and it's an earth sign with both its feet well on the ground and its head squarely on the shoulders. So this will be a high point, a notable moment concerning our plans to get ahead in life. As you can see in the chart, so we have the full moon that is actually squaring Saturn, okay? It's a square to the ruler, and that makes it more of a crisis, okay? That renders things a little bit more difficult than usually. So probably it will be a crossroads where we are impelled to act out of discontent. Something doesn't make us happy, and we have to take a decision right now that will have very long-term implications. So we shouldn't take it lightly, okay? At any rate. we might hit a major roadblock at this time, also with the square to Saturn, so we're not gonna sugarcoat it. And also it's making a square to Neptune, and probably with this roadblock we are a bit disillusioned as a result. We might be tempted to give up, but actually Capricorn is no quitter, okay? So he will hold the fort to the bitter end. So we can rely on our capacity, on our resilience, on our capacity to stay our ground, okay? And probably we will take the correct decision in the end. Also, this full moon is making a trine to Chiron. So no matter how impatient we might be facing the obstacle, because Chiron is still, well, it was in Aries, and right now it's at the very beginning of Taurus, we should now show empathy to others without actually forgetting self-care. Because Chiron in Taurus wants us to take good care of our bodies, especially. Taurus is a material sign, a very sensual sign that needs actual touch and tender loving care. So go get that massage, take that much needed nap, because we're not machines and we need our time to rest and recover. And at the time of the full moon, we have Mars conjunct Uranus as well. So we might get a little bit rebellious out of frustration at this time, and also be a bit accident prone, because the energy is a bit tense right now, where we feel like we are running out of time perhaps, especially, with Mars being in Gemini, which is quite an impatient sign. And it's also trining Pluto, so definitely this is an aspect of empowerment, okay? This whole nervous tension with the conjunction to Uranus will be expressed in a constructive way with the trine to Pluto. So at this time we will be strong and full of life, we will be ready to assert ourselves and actually express ourselves in no uncertain terms. In Gemini, of course, our minds might run at high speed. We will be dealing with all this new info that will be pouring in. And Mercury at this time also, interestingly, is stopping just short of a conjunction to Jupiter and is ready to turn retrograde. Actually, is stationary at the time of the full moon. So there is a bright idea right around the corner, if I might say, that would solve our problems. But it's not ripe yet, because Mercury doesn't make the conjunction to Jupiter this time. Actually, this bright idea probably will have to keep for the next 2 months or so, until Mercury will actually join Jupiter for good. And Mercury stationary at this time is actually signaling a day of important information or decision, especially concerning home or family, because Mercury is in Cancer. Okay, and last but not least, this full moon is happening at the midpoint of Ceres and Pluto. So we are about to harvest the fruit of our work, because Ceres has to do with harvests of all kind, and also is impacting the parent-child relationships. So at this time, our own parental relationships, or relationships we have with our own children, might undergo deep change, okay? Probably this full moon will signal just an important event that will affect this dynamic. The ruler of this full moon, which is Saturn, is in Aries. So at this time it's all about being bold and assert yourself. One should look after one's own interests and put oneself first, okay? Because if we don't do it, who will? But watch out for a risk of aggression with this fired up Mars as well, as we just saw. Saturn actually is moving right now past Neptune. So the two of them have been conjunct for quite a long time, actually. And the conjunction was exact in February. And ever since this conjunction in February, Saturn is moving past Neptune and going, ahead of it. So this separation actually could be felt already in the month of May. This could be felt as progressively shedding our pessimism and moving past our previous hurts or disillusionments or disappointments. And probably right now we are the wiser for having experienced them before. But now we can devote ourselves to our tasks in hand with Saturn without also feeling overwhelmed or despondent with Neptune. So in a nutshell, with this full moon, there might be a crisis to overcome, okay, by pushing through an obstacle with all our intellectual might, because with Mars in Gemini, it's all about shrewdness and keeping abreast of new information Actually, it's not about raw physical force. It's more about intellectual power, okay? And it's also a lesson in patience. So don't barge in, okay? Take the time to really consider the strategy and apply it. Okay, so these were the lunations for the month of June. Also this month, of course, we will have the summer solstice. So it's a very important event in the year. The days are longest here in the Northern Hemisphere. So summertime, no wonder that this full moon is about an apogee in your career or public image or so, because, the light will be at its maximum intensity. At least in our hemisphere, guys. Okay, so this month we have 6 planets changing signs, which is quite a lot. So let's take them one after the other. For one, the Sun is going from Gemini to Cancer, okay, on the 21st. So it's like a bit going from the mind to the heart, okay? So we're going from the intellectual, nervous, agile, flexible Gemini towards the more sentimental, private, and emotional Cancer, okay? So focus is shifting from knowledge to feeling, while until the 21st, everything will seem possible, and we are now just weighing options, okay, looking here and there, getting informed, dipping our toes into the waters to try them out. After the 21st, we will let ourselves be guided more by our instincts and towards a place that feels safe, okay? Because all of a sudden, security will be much more important in Cancer. In Cancer, the familiar is chosen over the new and interesting in Gemini. So traditions are making a comeback, affections are expressed that perhaps were a bit disregarded while the Sun was in Gemini, because Gemini is an unemotional and easily distracted sign. Now we are more building our nest in order to welcome in what we regard as family, and that means also our close friends, of course, people whom we trust and we feel safe with. We are less prone to risk-taking, as I said, and also in love we are more cautious, less flirty. The flirtatiousness is fading out. And instead we have the timid lover with his heart on his sleeve. We tend to be more selective with our attentions and give our precious time only to those who deserve it. We become more sensitive, more easily bruised, more easily vexed as well, because the flighty Gemini is giving way to the tender-hearted, if a bit closed-off Cancer. Mercury actually is in Cancer for the whole month. It's going ahead of the Sun, so thinking is strongly influenced by feeling. Decisions are no longer purely rational or taken at the roll of the dice, because Gemini can be doing that. Now our changing mood is weighing heavily on our minds and reason. We are thinking basically with our guts. Okay, so we become distinctly less objective and have a hard time staying impartial, okay? In fact, we tend to identify with our opinions very much, and we start to see the world from our own highly individual, personal viewpoint, instead of seeing the bigger picture. So that is the major risk here. So remember just to take a step back and widen your perspective a bit. Mercury will be stationary at the end of the month, preparing for a U-turn, as it turns retrograde in Cancer on the 29th. And we will be likely revising a decision concerning our home or family, in Cancer, of course, and possibly even our food, our diet, because Cancer also rules this. It probably was an emotional decision anyway, so not the most, best considered. For some reason, we are not ready yet to publicly state our stand, our opinion on this subject, but the level of confidence will only be reached after some inner pondering with the Mercury retrograde. So Venus is going from Cancer to Leo, and it does so on the 13th of the month. So for the first half of the month, we tend to enjoy staying at home with the select few of our friends around us or family members, enjoying the softness of our family cocoon. We might throw a dinner party or two because it's in Cancer, okay, and to invite people to share in the comfort of our home, and also share affectionate and intimate moments. But after the 13th, life tends to become more glamorous. We will feel inclined to show off a little bit more, okay? Put our assets on display. We want our money's worth of comfort and luxury even, because we want the best. And we deserve the best, of course. Love will become more boisterous, more vocal, more expressive, more dramatic. As Shakespeare put it, all the world's a stage. And we are all actors in the big drama of life, never the more so as with Venus in Leo, of course. Mars is going from Taurus to Gemini on the 28th, actually. So most of the month, it's in Taurus. So slow and steady wins the race. That's the major, message till the 28th for the most part of the month. We are keeping our eyes on the prize and plod our way, towards it. Nothing can deter us from our progress. Then at the very end of the month, we become nimbler. It's like all of a sudden we discover another way of doing things, an easier one that involves less labor and more ingenuity. We become more flexible in our ways in Gemini, more accommodating too, because Taurus can be quite stubborn, let's admit it. So being clever becomes more important than being consistent. Okay, that was the case in Taurus. And we will also acquire a certain lightness of touch that perhaps was missing till then. Okay. So the steadiness gives way to a more agile attitude. Jupiter is also changing signs, and this is one of the major news of the year. So Jupiter was in Cancer for the whole year, and right now it goes into Leo on the 30th, okay, at the very end of June. So this is the last month of Jupiter in Cancer. So for 1 year, the domestic front, was favored by the gods, okay, the domestic front of home and family. We were encouraged to bolster our safety and pad our nest in the most comfortable way as possible. So expanding our living conditions, buy a house, invest in real estate, redecorate, renovate, you name it. And also, of course, tightening family bonds, healing family feuds, reconnecting with family members, discovering just a happier life together, okay? And this Jupiter strongly favored traditional ethics because it was exalted in Cancer. So keeping up traditions, all in the name of a more joyful family life and a more secure home base. Now that we had our chance to work on this, Jupiter going into Leo is offering like a year of enjoyment, of fun and romance as well. It will be a great time to unleash our creative potential and also shine as individuals. Leo, as the opposite of Aquarius, of course, really sets each of us apart, as people with distinct personalities who need to freely express themselves, okay, in their own individual way. Whereas with Aquarius in the opposite sign, Aquarius is more concerned with the welfare of a wide community and with how the individual is blending in with this community. So Leo is the solo artist, if I may say, and Aquarius is more like, the band or the choir. Okay. With Jupiter in Leo, strong personalities will carry the day. So we are supposed to lead, each in our own way, and get our egos stroked, okay, for doing so, for our performance. So any steps towards making our lives more glamorous, more fun, will be favored, of course, and the message here is don't hold yourself back, okay? Step up front and just steal the show with your own personal talents. Last but not least, Chiron is leaving Aries for Taurus this month. Well, it's not leaving it for good. It actually will come back to Aries later in the year, but still we can rejoice because this is another heavyweight transit, okay? So for quite a few years, Chiron has been in Aries. So the wound that kept bleeding at this time was a wound of self-assertiveness. The questions were, are we worthy enough, to stand up and be counted? Are we courageous enough? Should we be more pushy and claim our dues, or should we back down and hide our light under a bushel? How far should we believe in ourselves? Because there was this nagging fear that we might lose others if we show too much of ourselves, okay? So now this fear will mutate into one of lacking material resources in Taurus. We're never free of some kind of bleeding wound with Chiron, of course. It's just shifting focus, okay? Depending on the signs. So our ego won't be the problem anymore. Rather, we will start comparing ourselves to others in material terms. Where do I stand in the hierarchy of material success? Do I have the goods or the money to feel safe? Health is also part of this material resources, of course. So the question is my body in a good enough shape? Okay. These are the questions we will be asking ourselves. And actually, we would do well to pay attention to these questions and try to give them an answer, try to act on them, especially the health part, okay? It's never too late to take care of yourself. Okay, now on to discussing the astrology of each sign in turn. Well, I have a confession to make. This time I've been so busy with my change in, in job and with my fully packed schedule that I couldn't prepare as usual with my usual text for each sign, okay, because I have a Mercury retrograde in my natal chart. And of course, that means that I really have to consider each and every word that I speak in order to be sure that it's right and to the point. But this time I'm going to take some chances because it's not sustainable, this manner of doing things, okay? And because it's really time consuming, and it took almost 3 days to prepare the text for each video. So this time I will just be spontaneous and try to discuss with you my little notes that I made for the transits of every planet in each sign. Okay, so let's see together. First things first, Aries, of course. So Aries is ruled by Mars, as we all know, and Mars, its ruler, is going from Taurus to Gemini. That means from the 2nd to the 3rd house, and this happens on the 28th of June. So for most of the month, Mars will be in Taurus in the 2nd house, which means that for most of the month, Aries will be really considering the material implications of whatever decisions it takes. Meaning that really it is focused on making money, amassing material assets, try to feel safe by any means, and basically this time it will mean having enough resources, material resources to count on. Also, the 2nd house, it's a house of self-esteem, of the value that we each consider we have. And at this time, it's Aries feels that it's time to assert itself, to really show the world what it's made of, what we are made of, because I'm also an Aries. So it's time to really go for it, stand up and be seen, and really try to acquire the things you want, to manifest your wishes, to be bold and assertive, as a real Aries should. Okay. And with Mars in Taurus, we will be really strategic about it, calm, composed, and steady, and act, regularly. Not really, pushing or speeding things up for no reason, but just at a steady pace, slowly but surely. And this means that probably we will get, where we want to get. And afterwards, at the very end of the month, with Mars in Gemini, it will be all about an excited mental life. So lots of ideas, lots of communication, lots of talks, and lots of learning too. And this actually is already the case for the first 3 weeks of the month, because the Sun in Gemini is actually in Aries' 3rd house. The 3rd house has to do with the way we learn, with the way we communicate, because it's a Mercury-ruled house. It corresponds to the sign of Gemini. And also, it's a house concerned with short travels, short trips, mobility, overall mobility. And it also happens to be concerned with the siblings, with the relationships that we have with our close environment, like neighbors, like acquaintances, okay? So this is a very mercurial house, where all Mercury-driven activities are shining through. And with the sun there, we are supposed to become more talkative, more expressive of ourselves. Our mind will be sharper, and we will start to be interested in lots of different subjects. We might discover new fields of interest, actually. And we will be very glad to communicate about it with all the people around us. Okay. And further on, after the 21st of June, with the summer solstice, the sun will be going in Cancer, so in Aries' 4th house, which means for the last week, we will be happy to stay at home with our close family and just enjoy some rest after all this intense activity in the 3rd house. All this coming and going, all these talks, and it might be a bit tiresome in the end, okay? So the end of June will be devoted to relaxation, being zen about it all. And Mercury is actually supportive of this because it's in Cancer for the whole month. And even going retrograde in Cancer, so spending some more time there, also in July. So with Mercury in the 4th, our thoughts tend to be really influenced by our feelings because it's in Cancer. And we will be very much concerned with topics concerning our family and also our mother, our roots, history, actually, the history of our family, and with all matters regarding the home, okay? Any kind of renovation, any kind of reparation, any kind of fixing that might occur. And also, Venus is not very far behind. Venus is actually in Cancer, and it's actually far ahead. Venus is actually in Cancer, and it will move into Leo on the 13th. So for the first part of the month, the first weeks, both Venus and Mercury will be in the 4th house, and preparing the way, paving the way for the sun to get there. And Venus will make it more agreeable for us to stay at home, okay? We will really enjoy the comfort of our house, and we will really enjoy having good relationships with family members, strengthening ties, feeling welcomed and warm, okay, inside this family cocoon. And afterwards, with Venus in Leo, all of a sudden, this goes into Aries' 5th house. So all of a sudden, we feel like going out and have fun, okay? It's all about ourselves. This time, we need to express ourselves, express our creativity, let those creative juices flow. And all in all, we might go on holiday because it's also the season for this. We might discover a new hobby. Why not? Something that's really shiny and glamorous, okay? Even our dressing style will change, and probably will become more self-conscious about it, and more pay more attention to the way we look, okay? Like I'm doing right now, okay, rearranging my jewelry. So this is typically, a reaction with Venus in Leo. We will enjoy being seen. We will enjoy being seen for what we are, and also we will bask in the sunshine of other people's admiration. So a great time for Aries to come at the end of June. Afterwards, also, we have Jupiter there, and Jupiter is also in Cancer for most of the month of June, and so the 4th house of Aries will be quite occupied. Of course, Jupiter has been there for almost a year. This is the last month in Cancer. So for almost a year, Aries has had time to really take care of his family nest, really take care about laying down roots and making it himself at home somehow. Okay, so family life has been really rewarding, has been really enriched at this time. We probably discovered different ways of enjoying ourselves at home, and also different ways of feeling close to especially female family members, be it our mothers or our sisters, or actually ourselves as mother. And we will take advantage of this for this last month. And with also Mercury and Venus in the 4th house, it will be really a good time to spend time with your family and feeling close, feeling like a family unit together. And afterwards, of course, Jupiter will be going on the 13th to the sign of Leo. This is something that I should discuss next time, but anyway, for Aries, this probably will be a very hot summer, full of fun, of exciting activities, sports, some risk-taking as well, and also some noticeable flirting and romance ongoing. Okay, so let's not anticipate, because this is something that will come only in the month of July for good. Then we have to consider the planets that are in Aries at this time. So we still have Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron for most of the month of June in Aries. So this trio has been quite problematic for Aries for quite some time, because of course these are heavyweight planets, and each of them pose some specific problems on their own. Saturn has been conjunct Neptune for quite some time in Aries. Right now they are growing further apart, which is actually good news, because this lets us, enjoy life some more and not be so, despairing about it. Because, okay, we might have tasks and work to do with Saturn there, of course. Who doesn't, huh? We might have our own share of disillusionment with Neptune, but when the two were together, both were just, felt much stronger. But right now, we can feel them separately, and we can be more objective about the real, intensity of the problems that we are experiencing. So with Saturn there in Aries, we are supposed to be serious, self-disciplined, conservative, grounded, and really go about our work in a very disciplined way, okay, and a very conscientious way. And we can be quite efficient with Saturn there. We can set ourselves some important goals, and with Saturn, we will fully realize that we need to be perseverant and actually go the distance in order to reach the objective that we set for ourselves. And with Neptune there, this will make, and actually already does make, all Aries people more spiritual. Okay, this is a worn out word that I don't necessarily like, but what better word to express the fact that with Neptune we feel more elevated. We have a conscience of the world around us that is more empathetic and more caring, and we can think in wider terms. We can dream bigger dreams, and this in itself, it's extremely good, especially for those areas among us that are creative, because Neptune is actually inspiration, and there will be sort of, downloads of inspiration coming out of nowhere that will bring us actually a whole new perspective of life. And as any action is preceded by a dream, we know that Aries is really keen to act, is really impatient to just run into the action. Perhaps not without any major thinking about it beforehand. But with Neptune there, we have the dream that will precede the action. We know what dreams we're going to follow. We know where we're headed. We know what kind of ideal we want to achieve. And this is quite important, And also, well, actually, I skipped a little bit Uranus in the middle. So Uranus is actually in Gemini right now. So this is... it has the company of the Sun for the first 3 weeks of the month. And Uranus in Gemini, of course, it will stay there for the next 7 years or so. Oh, I'm sorry, this hay fever is just terrible. Okay, so with Uranus in Gemini in the third, lots of quirky ideas will come just out of nowhere, will pop up here and there. It will be like flashes of inspiration coming. Actually, our whole mental activity will be quite enlivened, and our mind will be a lot more sharper, and quite extraordinary information will reach us. We might discover a whole new field of study, for instance, and we might be attracted to unusual subjects, such as astrology. Why not? Or actually more technical ones, because Uranus is a planet that is readily concerned with subjects such as informatics, aerodynamic, you name it, field of physics, okay, and sharp technology. And also we have Pluto. Let's not forget Pluto. That is a very slow-moving planet. It's in Aries, is 11th house. And in the 11th house, it actually influences our friendship circle, circle of friends, and also our projects for the very long term. Okay, so with Pluto there, okay, our friendships will undergo quite massive changes in the next 18 years that Pluto will spend in Aquarius. But also for the next 18 years that Pluto will be there, we will actually be able to project ourselves towards the future in a more powerful way. And we will envision for ourselves important projects, okay, on a scale that we wouldn't have dreamt about before. So Pluto really, together with Neptune in Aries, actually really makes us dream big. And we should dare do that because we actually are worth it, okay? With this, we have to believe this because right now Mars is in the 2nd house of Aries. And as I said, it's all about self-worth and belief in yourself. And with this combination of planets at this time, we really can, see the future in front of our eyes and feel emboldened and motivated to go for it. The good news, of course, is that Chiron this month will leave Aries' 1st house and go towards the 2nd house. So it's been in Aries for a very long time, much too long by any standards. Okay, I'm an Aries, so I can speak about it. So Chiron has been like the thorn in the side, like the permanent wound that won't stop bleeding. Okay, and for Aries, that is quite self-assertive sign. Actually, is not used to being to feeling weakened, to feeling inadequate, and Chiron there taught him a lesson of inadequacy and vulnerability. Okay. Now I think the lesson has been learned because Chiron is slowly but surely going out of Aries into Taurus. Right now only tentatively so because it's making it is taking us a few steps into Taurus and then coming back to Aries, and it will be gone for good during next year. With Chiron in the 2nd house starting on the 19th actually, Aries will be more concerned with their material earnings, and they will feel probably a feeling of inadequacy in these terms. Like, do I really earn enough? Do I earn as much as my neighbor? I have all these diplomas. Why am I not? Why don't I gain a better pay? And so on and so forth. So it will be still a problem of self-esteem. Self-esteem manifesting through the capacity of material earning, basically. But at least the sense of self and the capacity to express oneself with Chiron in Aries, now gone, will be established. And of course, we have several lunations this month that will affect Aries as well. So the full moon that we have right now on the 31st of May, I take it as still valid because it will influence the first 2 weeks of June. So this full moon is occurring in Aries' 9th house in Sagittarius. So it's all about a period of education, expanding one's horizon, thinking religious thoughts, reassessing one's belief. Okay, and also, of course, traveling, exploring, because what better way to expand one's horizon after all? So Aries right now at this point in time on the 31st of May is preparing his holidays. It's considering the more spiritual side of life and reconsidering its goals in terms of the meaning of it all. Okay. This sounds pretty big and vague and perhaps confusing, but nonetheless, it is what's happening right now. Very big ideas and concepts about where we are headed in life and what's the meaning of it all are actually pervading Aries' mental sphere. Okay, it's a great time to actually go out and explore. And then with the new moon actually happening in the 3rd house on the 15th of June, this will be more about actualizing this learning process and actually starting on a course of training or education or perhaps receiving some important information that will affect our plans for the future. And why not perhaps starting a new project with a sibling or with somebody close. Afterwards, at the end of the month, we have this lunation that is happening in Capricorn. So it's in Aries' 10th house. In the 10th house, this is about career. Career, public image, public status. So it's about the visibility that we will be gaining at this time, Aries people. Actually, a career project will be decided at this time. Or will we receive some public recognition for our merits in work, in profession, okay? So anyway, it will be a time where we step on the wider scene, when we are really under the spotlight and we are more visible. So take advantage of this in case you have a message to carry, okay, and you want to be heard. So that's it for Aries for the time being. As for the important dates for Aries now, if we look just at Mars, which is his ruler, we have Mars squaring Juno on the 2nd of June, so right now. So this should be a time where our committed relationships don't fare so well because of disagreements. There is some tension in the air. We need to do things together with our partner, but our spouse, but actually it's not going smoothly. Okay, just be warned and maybe do something energetic with your partner, like taking a long walk or starting sports together or something. Anything rather than quarreling with him or her. Then on the 28th, we have Mars sextiling Jupiter, and this is a great time for being active, proactive, feeling energetic and at the top of your shape, starting sports, starting traveling as well. So on the 28th, the world is your oyster. Okay, this is sextile, so it's a harmonious aspect, but it's not an easy one. It's not like things are falling into your lap just by magic. You have to fight for them a little bit. So go ahead, be bold, okay, and believe in yourself. And on the 30th, Mars is squaring the nodes, and this is a very social time where we might get into a lot of reunions, being, like business meetings, professional meetings, or just meeting up with friends to do something together. Teamwork is very strongly underlined at this time and could be efficient. Just try to be a team player and not go your own individual way, because at this time you might be tempted to. Okay, anyway, we know that Aries is quite individualistic and has a mind of its own and is not afraid to follow his own opinion against the others. So that's what I had for Aries. Now on to Taurus. So Taurus, as we know, is ruled by Venus, and Venus at this time is going from Cancer to Leo, and this is happening on the 13th. Okay, so Venus is going from the 3rd house of Taurus to the 4th. So for the first 2 weeks of the month, with Venus in the 3rd, that means that everything connected to learning, self-expression, communicating, relationships with siblings and neighbors, all of this is favored and actually quite agreeable. So if you are a writer, you're going to have lots of inspiration. If you are a teacher, your message will be very well received by your pupils. They're going to actually listen to you. And all in all, your way of expressing yourself will be more smooth and more harmonious, and you will take great pleasure actually in exchanging with people, in talking with people. Your relationship with your siblings also will go well. Afterwards, so for the last 2 weeks of the month, Venus in the 4th will bring creature comforts at home. So it's a leisure time. It's a time to take a rest, to enjoy the comfort of your home, perhaps to meet with a few people inside your home and invite them over for lunch, dinner, or just a cup of coffee, and just spend some nice quiet times together. With Venus, of course, well, at first with Venus in Cancer, it would be about, the first 2 weeks, it would be about emotional communication, okay? You will talk about your feelings more, you will express your tender affection to someone. And then afterwards, with Venus in Leo and in the 4th house, it would be more like being the glamorous mistress of the home, or actually, I'm talking in terms of or women, because of course I am one, but there is a male equivalent. So you will actually take pride in your house, in your home. You will take so much pride in it that you will want to show it to everyone else, and you will be glad to host like dinner parties or so in your house. So in terms of the dates, actually, we see that Venus is making quite a lot of aspects this month. So we have Venus conjunct Jupiter on the 9th, a great day, actually one of the best of the year, with the two benefics conjunct, when you will be particularly happy to express your affections and also receive words of affection and love from other people. Then on the 13th, Venus will be squaring Chiron at the very end of each sign. So Chiron in Aries and Venus in Cancer. So it will be, you will feel a bit more shy perhaps, and probably you won't dare, to express yourself so much, even though you should. You will be a little bit more self-conscious about your appearance, and all in all, you won't feel so much at ease, unfortunately. But right afterwards, on the 15th, Venus will be sextiling Uranus, and this is a great moment, to throw a surprise party, to discover a new hobby, to actually approach that love interest, that person that you have your eye on. And all in all, doing something new and unexpected. Afterwards, on the 17th, with Venus trining Neptune, you will feel quite romantic and sensitive and maybe start writing love letters. And on the 17th also we have Venus opposing Pluto, and this is all about very deep feelings and very deep passion that is trying to come to the surface, and also with the trine to Neptune, of course. So the 17th will be a very romantic day, so try to plan something accordingly. Then on the 22nd we have Venus opposing Juno, and even though it's an opposition, I don't feel bad about this one. I think it's more about spending some quality time with your partner. And then on the 25th, with the trine to Saturn, well, emotions quiet down a little bit. You feel more steady and actually sure of yourself. You feel that you can rely on your partner, in terms of emotional safety, and security. And you will also be more cautious with your expenses. Okay, that much for the ruler of Taurus, but let's consider that the Sun is also going from Taurus's 2nd to the 3rd house, okay? It's changing signs on the 21st. So for the first 3 weeks of the month, the Sun is gracing Taurus's 2nd house of money, of income, earnings, and also self-value. So with the Sun there, it's just all these problems are illuminated, of course, but the Sun is a benefic actually. And it brings light to many, hidden problems, okay? If there was a problem with your earning capacity, with your assets, whatever, with your property, it will be brought to light to be solved. But all in all, it's a benefic influence, so it's very likely that you will be happy with your income and also receive some material gratification. And afterwards, actually, the Sun is moving on to the 3rd house, where Mercury is already for the whole month. So the accent is really put on the 3rd house in the last week of June or so. And with both the Sun and Mercury in your 3rd house, you will feel compelled to express yourself, to contact people from the past, to speak your mind. Okay, you're gonna find yourself actually speaking in public meetings, even though you were shy, in the past. Right now you will feel bold enough to express yourself. And actually your mind will be quite eager to discover new information. And even though Mercury is in Cancer and is quite sentimental at this time, it's still Mercury, and it wants to find out more about things. And Venus, as I said, will be in the 3rd house in the first part of the month. So actually for the whole month you have like at least 2 planets in the 3rd house. It's going to be quite a mobile, nervously active, month, with lots of talks, lots of short trips, lots of information pouring in. Okay, then on to Mars, because Mars is going from your 1st house to the 2nd house, and is doing so at the very end of the month. So for the most part of the month, Mars will be in the first house. What did I say? Feeling bold, okay? With Mars there, you will really feel like no obstacle is worth stopping and thinking about it. You will just run through them. And with Mars there, you will feel quite energetic, in top shape, able to tackle like any project, okay? And I think it's about time for you to just start projects. Because before with Mars in Aries, we were talking about how you were just thinking about it, considering them, letting them ripe in your mind and not do anything concrete about it. Right now it's time to act, people. Okay. We know that Taurus, once started, it's unstoppable. So I bet you will. And then with Mars in the second house for the last few days of June, it will be a matter of, getting into action in order to earn more. And we also saw that the sun is motivating yourself to actually consider your income and do something to increase it. Okay, so you will at the end of June. Jupiter is also in your third house, and this makes 4 planets, roaming about in your third house. So Jupiter, it spent a whole year in your third house. It was all about short trips, communication, talking with people, having new experiences. It's about learning, actually. So you certainly learned a good deal in this year with Jupiter in Cancer, and now it's time to settle. With Jupiter passing in your fourth house, it's time to really take care of your nest, of your home, of your living conditions, and do something to improve them. You will feel quite happy with the comfort of your home and with the assets that we'll have in it. And also it's time to reconcile with your family members in case of any feud going on at this time. It's also the case to strengthen ties with your family members, to become closer, perhaps to your mother and father, and also to think more about family traditions, family history. Where do you come from, really? Blood is thicker than water, huh? We all know. Okay, so it's time when the past is actually going to influence yourself more. At this time, Saturn and Neptune and Chiron are all of them in your 12th house, and will still be there for quite some time. Only Chiron will step into your first house during this month. So with Saturn and Neptune in your 12th, there are some things in your subconscious that are crying to get out. There are some things that actually cause a problem that you're not fully conscious of, at this time. And of course, with Saturn and Neptune, we are talking about slow-moving planets, so you have some time, quite a lot of time, to consider this, to let it emerge, to let it ripen in your subconscious. Okay, because when Saturn will actually step into your first house, this will be brought to the light of your conscious, awareness, in order for you to take care of it. And as I said, Chiron is stepping out from your 12th house to the first house, and it will be doing so on the 19th of June. And with Chiron in your first house, what you can expect is a sudden moment of vulnerability. Okay, all of a sudden your defenses will be lowered somewhat, and you will show others where you really hurt. Okay, you will be able to acknowledge your weaknesses, your failings, and said like that, it sounds like a bad thing, but actually it is not, because showing your vulnerable spots to people actually allows real intimacy. Okay, it allows you to feel closer to people, to feel like you can share your inner life with them. Okay, so this will allow for quite some intimate moments where you will be better aware of what your strengths and your weak points are. Okay, and this knowledge itself is quite a strength in itself. Okay, in the meantime, Uranus is in your second house and will be there for the next 7 years, and that means quite a roller coaster in terms of material earnings. Okay, so we know that Taurus is concerned with the material side of life in terms of achieving something, material achievements. And with Uranus there, it can be sudden breakthroughs. It can be gaining suddenly a lot of money. It can also be sudden expenses that are unforeseen. So you should prepare for the unexpected in any case, and only hope for the better outcome. And finally, or almost not finally yet, Pluto in Aquarius is in your 10th house for the long run, okay, for the next like 18 years. And Pluto in your 10th house is giving you wider perspectives in career. So you are supposed to make quite an imprint on the world, okay, around you. You are supposed to really change your public image, perhaps to reconsider your career and your professional orientation, your line of work, your public status as well. So whatever makes your public image right now will undergo quite a drastic change in the next 18 years. Of course, this is not saying much because, of course, things change in 18 years, but this change will be intensely felt by you, okay? Even if, gradually, but intensely felt. And at the end of this passage of Pluto, you will look back and won't believe, at the amount of change that will have happened. As to the lunations, so we have the full moon on the 31st that is occurring today, and that will affect the first 2 weeks of June. And this full moon is occurring in the 8th house. So this will be about money changing hands, quite important sums of money, matters of insurance, taxes, inheritance, okay, and also possibly a health crisis of sorts. Because also thinking of this Chiron that will enter your sign, and that will in itself can precipitate a health issue. Okay, so just take care of yourself and don't hesitate to go to the doctor at any sign of an illness. And then the new moon that will occur in the middle of the month will happen on the 2nd house. So this will be a new beginning. Perhaps you're getting a new job and you are discovering a new source of income. Anyway, there are money coming in this time. Okay, so this is actually very good news. This is supposing some sort of sacrifice on your part or some sort of hard work, because this new moon will be squaring Saturn, let's not forget. And then with the full moon that will happen at the very end of the month, this full moon will happen in your 9th house. So it will be a moment of either becoming aware of some spiritual truth or starting on a new course of education, higher education, or starting on a travel. Why not? Because the 9th house is also concerned with traveling. So in any case, it's a culmination in any of these 3 matters. Okay, guys, now on to Gemini. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, of course, and Mercury at this time is going, is going from Gemini to Cancer, but it will spend the whole month of June in Cancer. So let's consider it will stay in Cancer for the whole time. And that means that Mercury is in Gemini's 2nd house. And with Mercury in the 2nd house, the focus of the month is exclusively, shall I say, on your earning capacity, okay, on material assets, on finding new sources of income, thinking of jobs, promotions, some matters like that. And Mercury there is actually accompanied by Venus in the beginning of the month for the first 2 weeks, by the Sun in the last week of June, and also by Jupiter for almost the whole of June. So Jupiter being there in your 2nd house is a very good omen for anything material, anything money-wise, and has been for the last year. Okay, so the combination of Mercury with Jupiter might be the bright idea that saves the day and the bright idea to how to make money, or actually a better idea of your own value, because now at the end of this transit of Jupiter in your 2nd house, you value yourself more. You have discovered your talents. You have discovered what you can rely on in your own personality, what kind of strong points you can take advantage of in order to get ahead in life. So your self-esteem overall will be quite, boosted with these transits. it's only benefics after all. The Sun, Venus, Jupiter, so only good news financially speaking. So for the first 3 weeks of the month, the Sun in the first house is actually putting you under a spotlight. You will become more visible. You will feel that you can express yourself more, and we know that you love this, being a Mercury rule sign. You will have plenty of ideas, and with all this visibility, people will gather around you and listen to your message. Okay, you will have also quite a vivid social life, because the Sun in the first always puts people on more in the public eye. You become more interesting all of a sudden. And Gemini always are, we know. And then speaking about Venus, Venus is going on the 13th from the second house to the third, as I said. And in the third house, Venus will make talking to people even more pleasurable than usual. And your way of expressing yourself will be smoother, more harmonious, more pleasant, and also more lively. And all in all, because it's Leo, okay? So you will be quite a public orator. Huh? You will be easily listened to. You will make quite an impression on people. You will have very good relationships with your siblings, with your neighbors, with any acquaintances, okay? And you will take a lot of pleasure in actually meeting people and exchanging information. You will also take pleasure in learning, actually, because on the third house, you also start learning things. It's not necessarily going to university, okay? It's learning in a broad sense. It's just, gathering information here and there, gleaning some info in a book or on a website or on YouTube. Why not? Okay, just listening to these videos is sort of a learning. And your mind will be extremely active and pleasantly stimulated at this time. Okay, and actually Jupiter is also going towards your third house this month, even though only at the end of the month. It's going from Cancer to Leo, and which means that actually you'll become even more mobile. I was going to say agitated, but this is not the right way of putting it. You'll be, I don't know, more flexible, more stimulating, let's say, than usual, and you will become even more, smarter than usual, actually, and more well-informed. And all of these things are actually very important to a Gemini. Okay, we all know you are keen to always learn something new. And Mars, in the meantime, will go from the 12th house to the first house. So right now it's in Taurus and will be till almost the end of the month on the 28th. In the 12th house, Mars is preparing action, not acting right away. So it's looking before you leap. Okay, right now you are at the stage of looking. So you are considering plans for the future. You are considering what you can do. You are also looking at your assets and see, what sort of resources you have at hand for your projects. And after all this assessment is done, after the 28th, at the end of the month, with Mars in your sign, all of a sudden you will take the initiative and leap. Okay, and start a new project, being more self-assertive, even forceful, actually, and with the full awareness of your value, as I said, and with the full capacity of convincing people, with all these pleasant transits in the third house. Actually, you will act and be very efficient doing so. And then we should also consider the trio that I was speaking about before, so Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron, that are in your 11th house, okay, for the long run. So Saturn and Neptune in the 11th house probably brought about a few disillusionments with your friends. Probably you started to separate yourself from some such friendships that are of no longer of any use to you, okay? Because probably you are a bit disappointed in how a few of your friends treated you. Probably you discover that you cannot rely on people the way you thought you could. And with Saturn there, you feel that, it's better to rely on a selected few of your friends that are your real intimate friends that can support you through thick and thin, and actually, sort out a little bit through your relationships, and not spend your time, with people who are not deserving. And with Chiron there, probably a few of your friends might have gone through a difficult patch and were in need of your helping hand or empathetic ear, but right now, Chiron is actually going from the 11th to the 12th. So you will spend less time playing the caretaker or the sympathetic shoulder to cry on. You will spend more time actually dwelling on your own inner conflicts and problems, and try to come to grips with them. Okay, you will reflect a lot on your history, on your early life, and try to make sense actually of your own inner conflicts. Okay, with Chiron there. So yeah, it's not necessarily a very easy task or a very pleasant one, but it's actually necessary, because better understanding ourselves is always a strength. Okay. Uranus, in the meantime, of course, is in your sign for the next 7 years. And with this, of course, Geminis will shine in all their quirkiness. So Uranus is quite an eccentric planet that make us extremely reactive, for one, and also a little bit rebellious, of course, and also enhances our originality and our individuality. Okay, so we can stand out as individuals with all our talents, all our quirkiness, as I said, our peculiarities. So with Uranus there, don't be afraid to exactly speak your mind and show exactly what you're made of. And don't be afraid of being a little bit idiosyncratic, a little bit different, because actually this is a strength and that makes you stand out. Okay. And also, finally, Pluto, among the heavy planets, Pluto is in your 9th house. And in the 9th house, it's about how your vision of life will change throughout the years. Okay. It's very likely that your beliefs, your grounding beliefs, and the way you envision, your life, will actually change a lot, because it's Pluto, and Pluto is like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So whatever beliefs you are holding right now, you should expect them not to be the same at the end of this transit. Of course, Pluto is also exposing you to an accelerated course of learning, which is a keyword that you love, of course, because the Geminis are always learning something. But in this case, it's learning through experience, through travel, through understanding other people's viewpoints, okay, and beliefs and faiths, actually, because the 9th is also concerned with your spiritual life. So actually take advantage of any opportunity to experience life differently, to travel and to widen your horizons, basically. The full moon that is happening on the 31st, so today, is happening in your 7th house. So this is sort of a culmination or crisis regarding a partnership. Actually, if you are in a couple, regarding your spouse, your partner, or perhaps your business partner, if you are in a business partnership. So this sort of a crisis, has been quite a drastic one with the opposition to Uranus. So something coming out of nowhere, a sudden initiative in your couple. Maybe you took the initiative to actually launch a project, or suggest a joint activity or communication, reaching out to the other. And then the new moon that is happening in the middle of the month is in your 1st house. So this is about perhaps a new appearance, a new life project, stepping up in front of people and speaking, your truth. Whatever it is, it will make you gain more visibility and start you on a new course. And finally, the full moon that is happening in the 8th house at the end of the month is about a crisis regarding some money that you probably owe someone, some fixed expenses like taxes or insurance, possibly a health problem, but this is less likely. So actually take a good look at your accounts and try not to be late with your payments. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the important dates for Gemini. So Mercury is making a sextile to Chiron on the 1st. You will be more vulnerable as usual and ready actually also to hear about other people's problems. On the 3rd, with the trine to the nodes, you are extremely social and communicative, and actually you rejoice in meeting people. On the 4th, with the square to Neptune, it's a bit of a confusing day because Neptune can be sort of a mental fog, or it can be simply not seeing the entire truth of the matter, not seeing the whole picture. Okay, so just don't take any important decisions on the 4th. It's not yet the time. And finally, on the 10th, we have Mercury squaring Saturn. This time the picture is clear, but maybe you are looking only at the details and not at the whole image. And you might get a little bit carried away with this detail work. And also you might be viewing things on a pessimistic side, okay? So seeing the glass half empty. Just know this and don't get, carried away with your pessimistic thoughts. They will soon dissipate because this aspect is only lasting one day. Okay, now on to Cancer. So as we know, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So the moon is making lots of aspects. The whole month is actually going full circle during the month. So I'm only going to discuss the important dates. But first and foremost, let's see what the other planets are doing for Cancer. Obviously, in the 1st house of Cancer, we have lots of planets this month. We have actually the Sun for the last week of June. We have Mercury for the whole of the month. We have Venus for the first 2 weeks. And also we have Jupiter for almost the whole month. So we have 4 planets in your sign, Cancer, which makes you the star of the month, okay? So, which means you are really under the spotlight. You are really welcomed wherever you go. You get very good press. People like you and welcome you and accept you and actually are eager to know more of you. So you shouldn't be your own, shy person anymore this month. You should try to be more outgoing and show more of yourself because you can be sure to receive a good welcome. And as I said, so in the first 3 weeks of the month, the Sun is still in your 12th house. So you are still a bit reserved, a little bit distant perhaps, and keeping your walls up a little bit because you are busy with your own inner life and need some time by yourself in order to reflect and relax and cool down. And afterwards, in the last week of the month, after the 21st, you will suddenly feel more outgoing and you will suddenly come out of your shell and go towards people and be more sociable because the Sun is like warming up whatever it touches, and in this case, it touches you. Mercury in your 1st house will make you more communicative throughout the month. So you will have many bright ideas, okay, that you should seize while they're there. And also those bright ideas will turn out to be especially productive with Venus also there, that is bound to bring some material gratification. What's more. And you will be quite capable of expressing your feelings to people, especially your affectionate feelings, okay? You will have quite a sense of humor that will please everyone. And all in all, as I said, you will be the star wherever you will go. Then in the 2nd half of the month, with Venus going towards your 2nd house, it's all about getting a better income, okay? It might be a pay rise, it might be a bonus, whatever it is. Yeah, you should enjoy it. Perhaps not play the lottery because this is only a transit of Venus and it's not enough by any means to make you win the lottery. But if your expectations are kept under control, why not? Also, Jupiter is in your 1st house and has been for almost a year. Okay, this is the last month that Jupiter is spending in Cancer, where it is exalted. So that actually served as a guardian angel, okay, to you. It helped you see the good part of any situation. It helped you stay optimistic and on track. It opened your eyes to many, to a wider reality. It widened your horizons. It made you travel, perhaps. It infused you with a sense of of joy in living, of faith in life, actually, and people. So Jupiter is always enthusiastic, and also have you been in this year. So Jupiter is now going slowly towards your second house, and will be there actually starting July. And in the second house, it will all be about making you have a better income, increasing your sense of self-value, making yourself value yourself more, and all in all, increasing your resources in order to further your plans and easing up your progress. Okay. Also, we have this trio of Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron that is right now in your 10th house. Okay, actually, Chiron will move out of your 10th house during the month, but Saturn and Neptune will stay there for quite some time still. And actually, with these two, it's all about your career and public image. With Neptune, you might think of changing, lines of work. You might reconsider your career, and perhaps you are willing right now to reorient yourself towards a profession that is more caring, that is more meaningful and helpful to others. Okay, it's really important to you right now to show compassion, to be of help. And this, of course, can be done in the helping professions, like a medical profession or such careers. Also, an artistic career might be appealing to you, because Neptune is all about inspiration. It's like a muse, coming down on us to send us inspiration. So, of course, not everybody can be an actor or an artist, but creativity can express itself in any line of work. Okay, so try to be more creative in whatever work you are doing. And with all this inspiration, with Saturn, we are trying to implement these ideas. And actually, you certainly will be trying to advance in life through work, to advance your career through steady work, actually. And you won't be afraid to tackle any task that's coming your way, because you know that nothing is gained easily, nothing is falling out of the sky. And it's a matter of being perseverant, patient, and quite clear-headed about what you want. Okay, and this you will be. With Saturn in your 10th, it's a matter of ambition. Okay, you know where you want to go, because you have also Neptune there that has enlightened your path. Okay, and you are going there. Chiron was in your 10th for a long time, and actually it is now changing signs and going into your 11th. So for quite some time, you have been a bit dissatisfied with what you are doing. You also felt compelled to help others, of course, because Chiron is the wounded healer. So you yourself might not be so, content or happy with your current line of work, but within it, you are able to help others. Okay. Now it's time to actually help a little bit of your friends, because Chiron is going into your 11th, which means that your friends will be in need of help. They would actually need your caring and empathetic attitude. You will be able to lend a helping hand, and as a Cancer, you will be very happy to do so, because we all know that Cancers are the first mothering sign that is nurturing and taking care of people around them. So with this being said, you also have Uranus in your 12th, and this is it will be there for the next 7 years, so it's quite a long transit. And with Uranus in the 12th, you might have quite a lot of quirky ideas that you won't exploit right away. Okay, it's quite a revolution going on beneath the scenes, in your subconscious, perhaps. Okay, you might not even be aware that this revolution is happening, but after this transit is over and Uranus will cross into Cancer, it will burst out. Okay, it will become suddenly visible, apparent to everyone. So at this time, try perhaps to write down any idea that is coming to you, any project, no matter how far-fetched, because it might appear so at the moment, and it might be all of a sudden become feasible afterwards. And last but not least, Pluto is in your 8th house for the long, long run. And with Pluto in the 8th, it's more a matter of, crisis in life. Obviously, everyone has to go through its own fair share of crisis. But in the next 18 years, this crisis will accumulate a little bit in your case. And you will emerge like a phoenix from the ashes, at the end of this transit. So it will be like an immersion into the darker aspects of life. But for Cancer, who is such a sensitive sign, it might be a bit difficult to deal with the affective part of it, with the emotional part of it. But it's also very good training. You will be tempering your emotions like, you temper iron. Okay, so you'll come out on the other side the stronger. Now the full moon that is happening right now, it's happening on the 31st of May, it's happening in your 6th house. So this full moon probably has to do with a problem concerning a pet, a problem concerning your work routine or your daily routine, or perhaps even your health. Okay, so it was some kind of a crisis that came out of the blue with Uranus and shook you up a little bit. And maybe, made you reconsider your daily routine in work. And this will have an effect on the next 2 weeks or so. Then the new moon that is happening in the middle of the month is in your 12th house. Am I right? Yes, it's still in your 12th house. So in the 12th house, it might be a matter of health actually coming up. So try to pay attention to any symptom that is appearing, and don't hesitate to go get a checkup. And especially try to rest, as much as you can, because this new moon is squaring Saturn. Maybe too much work will take its toll on your health, okay? So try to rest and recover and take time to really reflect on things, okay? Meditate, why not? Meditation is a great way of relaxing. And at the end of the month, the full moon is happening in your 7th house. And this will be sort of a culmination concerning a partnership, your spouse, if you're in a couple, your partner. So this can be a crisis or a culmination. So just, be aware of this and try to smooth things over before it's escalating into a conflict. Okay, so I promised the important dates for Cancer, and this is quite a task because the moon is there and the moon is going through lots of aspects each month. So let's see. For instance, on the 3rd, the moon is actually opposing Venus and squaring Saturn, and this probably will bring about problems in love, okay? Unfortunately, you might feel a little bit lonely at this time and a little bit unable to express your affections as you feel you should, okay? But don't get into a pity party right now, because on the 4th, this is a great day when the moon is actually making only nice aspects. So an opposition to Jupiter, a trine to Uranus, and a sextile to Neptune. So it's all about a feeling of, being alive again, being optimistic and joyful again, and actually enjoying lots of good luck. The 5th and the 7th are more, tense days, because on the 5th the moon is squaring Mars opposite Pluto, and then on the 7th the moon is squaring Uranus. All these days there's quite a lot of tense, nervous energy. On the 5th it can escalate into violence. So you'd rather, you would be well advised, for one, to avoid dangerous situations, and for two, to actually become more active yourself and take advantage of all this energy to further your projects. And on the 7th, it's a bit of a, nervous day with lots of nervous tension, so expect the unexpected. On the 9th, wonderful day. As I said, the 9th is probably one of the best days of the year because Venus is conjunct Jupiter, and what's more, the moon is trining them. So what better day can we expect? It's a day of leisure to enjoy with friends and enjoy all the happy surprises that might come your way, also because the moon is sextiling Uranus. On the 10th, again, shift in the atmosphere, because the moon is actually conjunct Saturn and squaring Mercury, and perhaps the news this day won't be so welcome, or perhaps you will be lost in study. And then on the 11th and the 12th, and also a little bit on the 13th, it will be, these will be more challenging days. On the 11th, the moon will be squaring Pluto and squaring also Venus, Jupiter. So a day of intense emotions and possibly also big spending. On the 12th, the moon conjunct Mars is lots of energy that needs to go somewhere, okay? And probably it will go into communication because the moon is sextiling Mercury. And then on the 13th, a very busy day with moon conjunct Venus and Uranus, trining Pluto, sextiling Jupiter, so lots of happy surprises, actually. And starting a new hobby, meeting a new love interest. You have it. Sorry, I need to drink a bit of tea before my voice dies off. Okay, so then on the 15th, we have the new moon, which is squaring Saturn and Neptune. So yeah, it's a bit of a heavy work day, and also yeah, a bit of a tiresome day where you don't feel at your most energetic self. And then afterwards, on the 17th, Venus conjunct again Venus and Jupiter. Happy day, of happy experiences, optimism, travel, meeting people, expressing your love feelings, and actually these feelings will be extremely intensified because of the opposition of the moon to Pluto as well. Then very energetic and explosive day a little bit on the 19th with the moon squaring Mars and Uranus, so lots of tense, nervous energy there. And on the 21st, another intense day with actually a quarter moon, which is sextiling Jupiter. So take advantage of the interesting opportunities on the 21st. On the 22nd, the moon is actually making loads of aspects. So an opposition to Saturn, Neptune, which one would say is pretty, boring and dispiriting. But actually with the moon trining Pluto and Venus is anything but. It's lots of deep and profound feelings and emotions that need to be expressed. On the 24th, the moon is actually squaring a Pluto-Jupiter opposition, so it's extremely intense. And then on the 26th, we have nice aspects of the moon trining Mercury, trining Jupiter, so, and opposite Mars, sorry. So a very energetic day of lots of useful communication, useful information coming your way. You will have a better idea where to go to. And then on the 28th, with the trine of the moon to Venus, quite a romantic and soft lights day. Finally, the last 2 days of the month, 29th, 30th, again, a square to Saturn and Neptune, so probably a bit of a downtime, okay. So quite a roller coaster of emotions this month. I'm tempted to say, as usual, Cancer. Okay, now on to Leo. So Leo is ruled by the Sun, of course, and the Sun right now is going from Gemini to Cancer, so on the 21st. So from Leo's 11th to the 12th. So for the first 3 weeks of the month, till the 21st, Leos will be especially gregarious, outgoing folks. Anyway, we know that Leos are quite, enjoy being in good company, but this time all the more so. They will be craving, social interaction, going out with friends, having a good time. And then in the last week of June, it's a bit of a, quiet time. After all this social activity, they will feel like, relieving the pressure a little bit and relax at home. Also, lots of other planets are going, are gravitating around your, Leo's 12th, 11th house. So speaking of the 12th house, that has to do with the unconscious, with what's hidden, with our own inner life. We have Mercury and Venus and also Jupiter. Okay. So with Mercury and Venus, it's all about happy dreams, happy thoughts, that perhaps you keep to yourselves, Leo. But nonetheless, they contribute to put you in a good mood, okay, in a serene mood and attitude, and also an optimistic frame of mind with Jupiter there. Jupiter has been in your 12th house for quite some time. This was protecting your health and also guiding you like a guardian angel. And soon Jupiter is to go into your first house. And this is the big news of this year. It's going into your first house on the 30th of June. Okay. So maybe I will briefly touch upon it, because with Jupiter in your sign, it will be like a year of plenty. Okay. Your life will be quite plentiful. You will feel extremely optimistic, encouraged to live your dreams, to dream big, to dare go after what you wish for, and you will see lots of your wishes come true. Okay, so it will be an extremely beneficial time for you, a time for you to shine even more than you usually do, Leos. Okay, and this is saying quite something. Actually, Venus is going from your from your 12th house to your first house, also on the 13th. So can you imagine having Venus and Jupiter in your sign, Leos? Okay, what better place to be? You will be extremely popular wherever you go. You will feel happy and rewarded and content with yourself, and also proud of what you achieved so far. Okay, and ready to share this joy and these good feelings with everyone around you. We all know that Leos have a big heart. They are extremely magnanimous and generous people, and at this time even more so than ever. Okay, and then we also have to consider that Mars is in your 10th house for actually almost the whole of June till the 28th. And with Mars in the 10th house, it's all about pushing through in order to get somewhere in your career. And you're really advancing right now your professional projects and your public status at this time. You actually enjoy quite some visibility, as we saw, and this is actually helping with your projects. So you will be more decided than ever to get ahead in life. Actually, Mars is going from your 10th to the 11th for the last few days of June, and in the last few days of June, so it will follow the Sun there, because the Sun will have left the 11th house. With Mars in the 11th, you might be tempted to start a very energetic, active project with some friends. Perhaps do sports together, why not? Or go on a trip together, or a hike or something. Because otherwise, with Mars in the 11th, with all this energy, not having anywhere to go, you might pick up a quarrel with a friend, and that would be a pity. Okay, what else? We were speaking of your 11th house, so you have Uranus there, okay. So actually, with Uranus in Gemini in your 11th, this announces 7 years of quite a rehaul in your friendship circle. You will get to meet lots of unusual people you usually don't hang out with, okay, maybe a little bit eccentric, original people with their own, individual ideas that will actually open up a whole new world for you, okay, a whole new sphere. And it will be quite exciting, actually, to make all these meetings and acquaintances, because, in this new circle of friends, you will be able to express another side of you, perhaps, or learn new things that you haven't been exposed to before. And speaking of the 11th house, no, this is about the lunation. I'm going to be talking about it later. Let's talk now of the famous trio of Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron, which is in your 9th house for the time being. So in the 9th house, Saturn and Neptune perhaps exposed you to new way of viewing your spiritual life, new spiritual concepts. Perhaps before before Neptune entered your 9th house, you weren't necessarily a very spiritual person. Perhaps you were, but it wasn't necessarily so. With Neptune there, it's like a whole new world, of concepts and ideas is presenting itself to you. You might start to reconsider your faith, your religion. You might start to more intensely feel these these religious, emotions. You might start to search for the meaning of life, actually. That is perhaps a very big word, but nonetheless, it is so. You are also searching for, higher education. Perhaps you are perfecting a training or a learning course, and at university, perhaps. Anyway, if you are doing so, it's like you are thirsty for knowledge. Okay, you are eager to soak in all this knowledge and better yourself as a person. Okay. With Saturn there, this is asking quite a lot of work out of you, okay? But you are ready to put in the work because you know it is worth it, eventually. And with Chiron there, Chiron and Saturn in the 9th, perhaps that restricted your mobility a little bit. Perhaps you weren't free to go on a holiday as often as you would have wanted to, because you had work to do, you had studies to do. But nonetheless, it was quite a steep learning curve, okay, in terms of higher concepts. And I think you are better able now to understand the world around you. You have a wider point of view, if you let me say so. Okay, it's like you're, all of a sudden you see the world as it is, as it can be also. You see what it can develop into, okay? And that is motivating you eventually to also reconsider your work, the work you'll be doing, because all these planets will slowly move into your 10th house afterwards. As does actually Chiron right now, because it's going this month from your 9th house to the 10th house. So after having learned about the more difficult aspects of life, okay, and having learned more empathy for people, you are ready to put it into practice, perhaps professionally, okay? So Chiron in the 10th will make you at first a bit dissatisfied, perhaps with your current line of work, because you are ready to express a more empathetic side of yourself, okay? So it's up to you to see how you can integrate this in your public image, in your public role, so to speak. Because it's not necessarily a change, a total radical change in your career that you need to be doing. You can try to adapt your style of work and perhaps pay more attention to your fellow co-workers, perhaps develop a volunteer work somewhere that will put you more in touch with people's needs and how to help them. Okay, so important dates this month for Leos, if we consider the Sun as the ruler. We see that on the 1st, the Sun is making a trine to Juno, and this is all about having spending pleasant time with your partner, with your spouse, and stabilizing even further your commitments, your committed relationships. Okay, everything is going well in this realm. On the 2nd, the Sun is sextiling Saturn, and it's all about being disciplined and at work, of course, and making good progress. On the 21st, you will become all of a sudden more empathetic and more, open to admit to your own failings, because the Sun will be sextiling Chiron. And then the Sun will go on to make a trine to the nodes on the 23rd, and this is a very social day when you will spend, of course, in company of others and shine in society, as you usually do. And then the Sun will be squaring Neptune on the 25th. This is a day to spend perhaps better by yourself, because you'll be very dreamy. You will feel like resting a lot and meditate, perhaps. Just let yourself be carried away by your dreams. Okay, now about the lunations before I leave Leo. So the full moon that is happening right now on the 31st is happening in your 5th house. So this is about a culmination, perhaps in a hobby, or in your romance life, in your romantic life, or perhaps some kind of a culmination in sports. If you are an athlete, perhaps you are running in a contest or something, participating in a contest. Also, if you are a parent, It can be about your children having a special achievement at the time, because you remember that this full moon is actually opposite Uranus. So anything unexpected regarding your children, your hobbies, your love life can happen at this time. The new moon at the 15th of June is happening in your 11th. So it's about perhaps striking a new friendship. Perhaps you are meeting a new person and all of a sudden you become friends. Like you have known each other since a long time. And then at the end of the month, the full moon in the 6th house is about a crisis or culmination in your daily work schedule, perhaps, or with your health, or with the health of a pet. Okay, you name it. Anyway, at this time, you'd better take it easy, because it might be that the rhythm, the work rhythm has taken its toll on you, okay, and you should rest a little bit. Now, on to Virgo. Okay, so Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, just like Gemini. And Mercury for Virgo is actually for the whole month of June in the 11th house, in Cancer. Okay, and with Mercury in the 11th house, that makes Virgos much more outgoing than usual. We know that Virgo is quite a modest and discreet sign that doesn't like to put itself forward like that on display. It's a private sign that needs to, to have its own, garden, private garden to tend to. But right now, in this month of June, Virgos will be very much outgoing. They will have lots of social intercourse with friends and participate in lots of meetings and reunions, and also formulate lots of projects for the future, because the 11th also has to do with projects. And the 11th house is quite busy at this time, because planets are, sticking together there. So the Sun will be in the 11th house in the last week of June. Mercury, as we saw, will be there for the whole month. Venus will be there for the first 2 weeks, and Jupiter too, for almost the whole month. Okay. So Jupiter has been in your 11th house for almost a year, and it's still there this month. So it's like one last month in which to enjoy this increased popularity, this increased social life, this high capability of making friends, because anybody will appreciate you and your sense of humor, actually quite dry humor with Mercury there, and also with Venus there. Of course, this can only add to your popularity. All in all, you will spend many pleasurable moments with your friends. You will formulate many new projects that motivate you actually for the future, especially in the last week of June when the Sun is going there. Okay, you will very likely get to meet new people also. So take advantage of this time to expand your circle of friends and try out new people, new ideas, new experiences. The first 3 weeks of the month, actually, the Sun is in your 10th house of career and public image. So, of course, you are very career-driven, okay, at this time. Your ambition runs high, you know your worth, you know what you want to achieve, and you are full in, okay. So, actually, with the Sun there, probably you can expect, due to this increased visibility, you can expect also gratification, from your bosses, perhaps. Your merits won't go unnoticed, of course, at this time. So you can expect some public gratification, public recognition coming from your merits. Also, Mars is going into your 10th house, actually, in the very last days of June, and you will double up on work. You will actually be, even more efficient in making progress in your career. And you can perhaps apply for a new job or promotion at this time, because with the Sun there, your merits will be on display, so to speak. You will be under the spotlight. Also, let's not forget that Uranus is in your 10th house and actually will be there for the next 7 years. So with Uranus in Gemini in your 10th house, you can expect quite radical, changes in career, like drastic U-turns. Or you might all of a sudden get the idea, why not try this other line of work? Why not try to apply for this position where you never, dare to think about before? So it's actually you who will take the initiative. It's actually within yourself that you will find all the, free-spirited, independent spirit that is actually pushing you to dare more, to go forward, put yourself forward as well. I'm not saying that this will happen in the month of June, but with Uranus there, this is setting the decor, the stage for these changes to occur. And with the Sun and Mars in your 10th house, I think you'd be at your, at your best. It's the best timing, to ask for a promotion or to apply for a new job. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Okay, so now let's think about all these planets that are right now in your 8th house. You have Saturn, Neptune, and actually Chiron all in your 8th house, in Aries. So in the 8th house, of course, is not the best place to be for any planet, because it's quite, except perhaps Pluto, because it's quite a dark place to be. It's the house of difficult experiences that people try to avoid, or to avoid even thinking about. Experiences connected to the passing of time, to departures, goodbyes, and actually death comes to mind, or illness as well. So with Saturn and Neptune there, probably you will have to witness some departures from your life, people or things passing from your life, difficult situations regarding money, etc. So this is not a light topic, to approach right now. I'm sorry, but I really have to say it like it is. I mean, the 8th house, we all know that it can be concerned with sudden difficult experiences, okay? And with Saturn there, you should pay particular attention to the money that you owe, or money that is owed to you, because it's also called other people's money house, okay? And this can concern taxes, insurances, inheritance, or shared accounts with your partner. And with Saturn there, that will suggest several financial problems connected to it. And with Neptune there, it also suggests that perhaps you should pay closer attention, because things are not entirely clear in money-wise, financially wise. And with Chiron there, it's also a problem of, not having enough money, perhaps in the joint account, or suffering from the consequences of, having to spend all these, fixed expenses, you name it. Certainly, other people's money in any shape or form will raise a problem of some kind in your life. Well, luckily, actually, the Chiron will be leaving your 8th during this month, because it's going from Aries to Taurus. And in so doing, it will take the edge of the pain off, okay? But Saturn is still there, and it really asks of you to really tightly control your budget, and really pay attention to, money movements, okay, of any kind. Also pay attention to your health, because in the 8th, it's not so that so much that you will develop an illness, but it's a very good time to undergo therapy, because it is the house of therapy. And with Saturn there, it might be time, to take your health into your hands and really do something about it. Okay, what did I neglect to say? Let's talk about lunations now. Well, actually, the first, full moon that is happening today on the 31st is happening in your 4th house. So for the last 3 days or so, probably you saw some unexpected events happening in your house, in your home, or an unexpected event connecting to your parents, perhaps, to your father or mother. So that could have been quite a crisis, an unexpected crisis with Uranus. But afterwards, it's time for the new moon that is happening in your 10th house. And that new moon is squaring, actually, Saturn especially. And with this square, probably it's about a new position. It's about a new beginning in terms of career or public image. And this new beginning has its foundation on hard work. Okay, it's your work that is really leading you to somewhere, that is bearing fruit right now. Okay, and then with the full moon that is happening at the end of the month in your 5th house, this can be a culmination, an important event that is concerning your children if you are a parent, or it can be a culmination in your love life, or perhaps you discovering a new hobby, okay, or perhaps a sports event of any kind, because the 5th house has to do with fun and games, and also with romance and children as well. So as to the important dates for Virgo, okay, we look at Mercury. And Mercury is sextiling Chiron on the 1st, so a day of a heart-to-heart conversations, okay, openly admitting to our vulnerable spots, okay, and listening to other people expressing their own, worries or problems. On the 3rd, a very social day that you spend in meetings, okay, and reunions, and discussing with people all day. Then on the 4th, a bit of a more confusing day where maybe you're not so clear about things, and maybe you're a bit distracted. Okay, so try not to take any important decision at this time. And on the 10th, Mercury is squaring Saturn, and it's a day of busy work, especially mental work or study. You are quite focused, but on the flip side, you tend to see the negative side of things. So try to remember that, you should be more optimistic about things, because reality is always somewhere in the middle. Now on to Libra. Okay, so Libra is ruled by Venus, of course. And Venus this month is going from Cancer to Leo, so from Libra's 10th house to the 11th. Okay. Actually, lots of planets, 4 of them, are gathering around Libra's 10th house. So we have the Sun in the last week of June, Mercury for the whole of June, Venus for the first half of June, and of course Jupiter for almost the whole month. Which means all spotlights are on your career and public image. Okay. Actually, we're only talking benefics here. So Sun, Venus, Jupiter, so it's the formidable trio of benefics that will really, boost your career and actually career prospects, and really favor your asking for a promotion, gratification, applying for a job, whatever it is. Okay. Your career life is really favored right now, and you're in an optimum position to put yourself out there and have your merits recognized. I really think that your superiors will manifest their appreciation of your work, because you are quite visible at this time. The 10th is actually the house of public image for a reason. It's at the zenith, okay, at the summit of the chart, and for all people to see. Okay, and with Venus there and Jupiter also, you have all reasons to be optimistic and to expect public recognition right now for your work. And with Venus there, actually, you will take quite a lot of pride and happiness, actually, in your work and public status. You'll be quite contented with your image, with what you transmit, what people see of you. With Mercury there in the 10th, you will think a lot about career prospects, and you will think optimistically about them, because Jupiter is also there, as I said. So at this time, if you have been, nurturing a dream about changing careers, about applying to that position that seemed perhaps a bit too high for you or out of reach, right now it will be just within reach, I must say. So it's the best time to do that application, to send that CV. Okay, but before doing that, for the first 3 weeks of the month, the Sun is still in the 9th house, so you're still busy learning or getting a diploma, or perhaps traveling and thinking things through. thinking about the best course of action career-wise, okay, because the 9th is sort of a 12th to the 10th, if you follow my meaning. Okay, in the 9th, all things career are in incubation. You have to learn and prepare for this, okay? And the sun in the 9th is preparing your mind by exposing you to new concepts, okay, to a new understanding, to a new perspective on things, okay? And probably you can also just enjoy a holiday because with the sun in the 9th, we can travel. Mars actually will reach the 9th also very soon. Mars is spending most of the month in your 8th house and then going into the 9th at the end of June. So Mars in the 8th is all about settling problems concerning a joint account, money that is owed or due, big money transactions of all kind, or actually getting into therapy, surgery for a specific health problem that needs to be, dealt with. But afterwards, with Mars in the 9th, it's all about active traveling, being proactive in a course of study, perhaps registering for some type of training, all of this. And let's not forget that Uranus is in Gemini and in your 9th house for the very long run. So in the next 7 years. So in the next 7 years, you will be exposed to lots of different ideas. Your perspective or your world, view is going to change a lot. With Uranus, since it's so unexpected and so highly personal, actually you will develop a very individual way of seeing life, okay, a philosophy of life if you want. You will be offered many opportunities to travel and to expand your experience, okay? And also perhaps to consider spiritual subjects differently. I don't know exactly what it will be like. Perhaps you will start to read books, to listen to people and to understand things differently on the spiritual level. We have this famous trio of Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron that is right now still in your 7th. At least for the beginning of the month, it will be a trio. Then Chiron is leaving and going into your 8th. So Saturn and Neptune are in your 7th house to stay. And this can pose a problem in terms of your partnerships, of your committed relationships, because Saturn is dissatisfaction and Neptune is also a bit of disillusionment and illusions, if I see you see what I mean. So with Neptune there, you might either project an image onto your partner and view things in a pink light, or else if you suddenly realized what's really going on, you might have come back to earth with a thud, and you might feel a little bit dispirited concerning your partnerships. With Saturn there, it might go both ways. It might be that you become critical of your partner and partnership and feel that your needs are not met, and start to actively work on it or speak about it and try to reach out to your partner to settle things, put things right. Or you might feel like a partnership needs more commitment, and you are ready right now, after careful consideration and mature thinking, you are ready right now to further commit within this relationship, okay? So it might go both ways. I'm not saying that it's all doom and gloom. It can be on one side, oh, things are so nice, we are so, ideally suited together that I'm ready to commit. This is one scenario. And the other one is, I'm so discontented with how it's going. I feel like a victim in the situation, or things are not clear to me for whatever reason. I suspect that there is something, hidden going on. And with Saturn there, I decide to put a stop to this partnership because I don't feel my needs are met. Okay. So just be careful, because certainly your, couple, your committed relationships will ask a lot of you at this time. You have to keep your eyes open, because with Neptune, things might be unclear, as I said. And try to be more optimistic about it, because Saturn can skew your vision, make you biased, unnecessarily towards a more negative way of thinking. So it might be not as bad as you think. Chiron is going out of your 7th to the 8th, and this is going to help, because with Chiron in the 7th, this exposed everything that didn't work well in the partnership, okay? Perhaps your partner was in a difficult position right now. Perhaps he was sick, he was ill, or she was sick or ill, or, you know, had personal problems on his own that, you know, were independent of you, but still affected the relationship life. Right now, Chiron is leaving the 7th, okay? Is going into the 8th, okay? In the 8th, it's a different set of problems that we will speak about, but for the time being, let's rejoice in the fact that it's leaving the 7th and it's taking the edge off the most difficult aspects in your partnership. Okay, now, the lunations. So the full moon on the 31st is occurring in your 3rd house, of learning, communicating, and short travels as well. And it was a crisis or culmination in these respects, also concerning perhaps an unexpected info that came out and that changed, you know, the picture. Then on the 9th, you have a new moon that is happening on the 9th. No, sorry. In your 9th house, you will have a new moon on the 15th. Okay. That will be perhaps the start of a holiday, the start of a trip, or the start of a learning course, or a training, a particular training. Whatever it is, maybe you start to, you know, all of a sudden you have another comprehension, another understanding of spiritual things. Why not? And on the 4th, what am I saying? In the 4th house, you have a full moon at the end of the month that is happening. And this full moon in the 4th house probably will be about a crisis or culmination concerning your parents, or concerning the home itself, or within the family. But the home itself, it can be you know, a problem to be fixed in the home, or the acquiring a new home, or moving. Whatever, not everyone will move, but something will happen within the home or the family that will be a little bit unexpected and certainly a bit challenging. Okay, so the important dates for Libra concern Venus transits. So on the 9th, Venus is conjunct Jupiter. So this is, as I said, one of the best days of the month. It's all about exuberant joy and optimism, okay? Things will go swell. I cannot put it otherwise. You will be very happy and at ease. On the 13th, Venus is squaring Chiron, and it's all about being honest, being open, and genuine, okay, in your interactions, because you will feel a bit shy and self-conscious. You will feel a bit inadequate as well. Maybe you won't be so sure that about your appearance. But all this is only a fleeting impression, because it only lasts at most one day. On the 15th, Venus is sextiling Uranus, and it's all about pleasant surprises and, you know, a day out having fun, discovering a new hobby. You feel, you know, a bit impatient of having fun, actually, going out and discovering the world, meeting people. On the 17th, Venus is trining Neptune and opposite Pluto. So this is a day of very in-depth thinking about feelings, if I may put it this way, because Venus is the ruler of your sign, of course, and with the opposition to Pluto, it's about exposing some deep-set, you know, emotions that affect your partnerships. And with the trine to Neptune, you will see it in a very, you know, rosy light, in a very romantic light. So a very romantic day, to be sure. On the 22nd, Venus opposite Juno is more about spending some quality time with your partner. And on the 25th, Venus trining Saturn will be about, you know, stable emotions, feeling grounded, feeling at ease, feeling at peace with oneself. Okay, so I'm sorry, this hay fever is not very elegant of me, but I have to sometime. Okay, so let's go now on to Scorpio. So Scorpio has two rulers, okay? It has the traditional ruler, which is Mars, and it has the modern ruler, which is Pluto. Of course, Pluto is not moving much. Pluto will be in your 4th house for the next foreseeable future, like for the next 18 years. And as such, it will greatly affect your living situation, your home, your family. And of course, this will unravel over the next 18 years or so. Nothing urgent or pressing to discuss right now. But Mars is much faster, of course, and it's going right now from your 7th house to the 8th house. So from Taurus to Gemini. It will spend most of the month in Taurus, which means in your 7th house. So most of the month, Scorpio will be concerned with this close partnerships, with the close relationships. So if you're already in a couple with your spouse, if you have a business partner, with your business partner. Being Mars, of course, Mars is a very proactive planet, a very self-assertive planet. So it's time to voice whatever preoccupations you have in this partnership. It's also time to initiate, projects and discussions, whatever is needed to further this partnership, okay? It's not a time to, stand still, sit on your hands and do nothing. Be vocal about it, okay? Because Mars in Taurus can be quite forceful once started, okay? Maybe you have waited for a long time and now there are some pressing points to be addressed, okay? So get on with it. Afterwards, at the end of the month, Mars will go into Gemini, so into the 8th house. And at this time, it will be more a matter of taking care of the budget, taking care of the joint accounts, investing wisely as well. And with Gemini, several different possibilities of investment will show up. Okay, actually the 8th house is also populated right now by the Sun in the 8th house for the first 3 weeks of the month. And afterwards, and actually also by Uranus for this whole, 7 years to come. So lots of activity in the 8th house. Right now with the Sun in the 8th house, it's a spotlight on your financial, matters. Actually, taxes and insurance are coming up to your attention. And you'd better keep a tight rein on the budget, okay, at this time, and just be careful with your spending. And actually, with Uranus there will be some unforeseen expenditures coming, some major acquisitions, perhaps, also perhaps unexpected inheritance. You never know with Uranus; it can go both ways. Money can flow in or out, okay, but just be prepared for the unexpected. Some unexpected, unfortunate events can also happen in the next 7 years or so, but there's nothing really pressing right now, except perhaps with this transit of Mars that will trigger Uranus in your 8th house, and then you might expect perhaps some type of an accident in your close environment, not necessarily regarding yourself. Okay, just be careful. And this aspect actually won't happen this month in June. It will happen perhaps in July, so we're not going to talk about it right now. So, lots of planets in your 9th house this month, Scorpio. So we have the Sun in your 9th, actually starting the last 10 days of June or so. Also Mercury, Venus, and of course Jupiter for the whole of the month. And this is a very good omen for anything related to travel, to discover the world, to, widen your horizon, to expand your knowledge on any topic, okay? If you're a student right now, it's a great time to study, okay? Because you are really keen to discover things, you are keen to learn. You are really like a sponge in terms of learning, and with Jupiter there, you're flooded with new information. Okay, you really the world is your oyster, if I may say so, because you are really invited to travel, to be an explorer. Okay, to discover things, and with Mercury and Venus there, you'll take a lot of pleasure in it, a lot of joy, and a holiday is really a good idea at this time. Okay. Don't deprive yourself of it. What else? We have the trio of Saturn and Neptune and Chiron in your 6th house. This is not so great because it can be the drag of the daily life with Saturn there in the 6th. It can be just like work is a bit overwhelming, your schedule is full, you're a bit tired of all this. And with Neptune there, you'd rather spend your day, you know, relaxing in bed rather than going to work. But what can one do? With Chiron in the 6th for a few years already, probably your health has sent a few, you know, alarm signals here and there that you shouldn't neglect, okay? Because Chiron is vulnerability, and in the 6th house, it can just highlight those weak points in your constitution, okay? And bring to light any illnesses that are, you know, hidden so far. So it's a good idea to organize yourself and your daily schedule, okay, with Saturn there. Saturn is great for focus and discipline and structure, okay? So you are invited to introduce some structure in your daily life in order to become, you know, more efficient. Then Chiron will move on to your 7th, and it will be more a problem of your closest relationship. And Chiron there probably will highlight any kind of issues that were swept under the rug previously. You will have to dare confront them, you know, face to face, and be open about it and admit to them, because it won't be necessarily easy. But with Chiron there, we are also supposed to heal whatever problems are hurting us. It's first we feel, you know, the hurt, because Chiron has a tendency to just push our buttons where it hurts. But once the wound is exposed, it can be healed as well with Chiron, okay? So we should think positively about it as well. The lunations that are happening. So the full moon right now today on the 31st is happening on your in your 2nd house. So in your 2nd house, it's an unexpected event or information regarding your income, your sources of money, or perhaps yeah, a sudden expense. Why not? Anyways, it's money oriented, okay? Then the new moon that is happening on the 15th is happening in your 8th house. So this is the start of a new situation regarding a joint account, perhaps. Or maybe you taking up a mortgage or a loan, or some type of contract involving other people's money. Then it can also be an unfortunate event happening, as I said, because Mars is approaching Uranus there. And this triggers a lot of tension in the 8th house, and we know that some adverse events can happen with this. So just pay attention at the middle of the month. And the last but not least, the full moon that is happening at the end of the month in your 3rd house. It's some type of new information coming in. Some type of significant event affecting perhaps a sibling or a neighbor, someone in your close environment anyway. I would bet it will be some kind of sudden communication that will greatly influence your point of view. And as to the important dates for Scorpios, of course, Mars is making a square to Juno on the 2nd, and this highlights some problems, some tension within a committed relationship, and it would be a good idea to just initiate a project, you know, an active project with your significant other, rather than let it degenerate into a quarrel, into a conflict. Then on the 28th, we have Mars sextiling Jupiter, and this is a great day to feel yourself energetic, capable, active, optimistic, enthusiastic. And finally, on the 30th, Mars squaring the nodes. It's a great day for teamwork, for meeting and reunions, okay, for sharing things with people, having a social day. Pluto, meanwhile, for the whole month is actually trining Ceres. And it is exact actually on the 10th. And a trine of Ceres to Pluto has to do with good understanding between generations, parents, children. Okay, so it's perhaps an important step in this generational dynamic, whereby the situation is slowly, gradually changing, because children are getting, more adult and growing more mature, and parents are simply growing older. And this transfer of, I was going to say power, but yeah, this transfer of focus between one generation to the other is actually happening smoothly with this trine, okay? So with Pluto's Aries, we might also expect a well-deserved harvest of our work, because wherever we put in the work, we must expect some fruits of our labor. And with this trine, those fruits will be quite rewarding, okay? What else may I say? Let's go on to Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter right now is in Cancer for the month of June, and actually going to Leo at the very end of June. So for the whole year or so, for the last 11 months and another month still, your ruler Jupiter has been in your 8th house, okay? In the 8th house, of course, you were exposed to some difficult aspects of life. No sugarcoating here, okay? We must say it as it is, because in the 8th, life takes on a darker shade, okay? You are exposed first and foremost to financial worries and problems, because in the 8th you have to rely on other people's money, you have to take up loans, you have to pay your dues. There are all those fixed expenses that are draining your account. You also have to provide for your partner, perhaps, or to rely on his support, her support, because the 8th is also about joint property, okay? Of course, the 8th house is also the house, of death. It has an ominous reputation like that, because death can be many things. It can be just the death of a state of things. It can be the end of a chapter in life. It can be the passing of people and things out of your life. So in the 8th, it's a whole transformation going on. It's more like an alchemic transformation. And with your ruler there, I dare to say that it was a year of deep inner transformation that will see you, reborn on the other side as a new you, a more, a wiser and more mature version of you that is more capable to, to have a wider, take a wider stance on life in general, because Jupiter is going to go towards your 9th house, okay? Jupiter is a very spiritual planet. It's a planet that asks us to open up to the world, okay? To understand the world around us, to open our eyes to reality. And in the 9th, it will be just like a sudden opening, All of a sudden, the light comes and you see the world differently. And this will be a source of great satisfaction for you, Sagittarius, because you are a sign that is always looking for meaning, okay? Always looking for a goal in life, for a hidden, network of meaning somewhere. And with Jupiter there in your 9th, you will have exactly that, okay? You will receive exactly that. You will be able to finally see the why behind it all, okay? You will find your why. So right now, you have a whole lot of planets in your 8th house, and mostly benefics, because you have the Sun there, Mercury there, and Venus also for the first 2 weeks of the month. The Sun the last week of the month. So all in all, you have Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun gracing your 8th house. So you can actually only expect seeing the good part of the 8th house, because there is one actually. So you might take advantage of other people's money. You might receive a loan, receive a credit, receive a grant, any type of money that is showered onto you, offered to you, to make good use of it. Okay. And with the 8th, you will probably come on top of any difficult situation. Whatever adversity you experience now, it's probably for the better in the end. You will see the why of all these difficult experiences once Jupiter is emerging on the other side in Leo, and that will happen at the very end of June. Okay, meanwhile, you also have some very important, transits in the 7th, because the Sun is in your 7th house for the first 3 weeks of June. and which means that the focus is on your couple, on your partnerships, on your close relationships, and this usually is meaning love relationships, okay? With the sun there, it's like a spotlight that is really bringing back to your awareness any problems regarding partnerships, but also any good sides of it. So you feel more involved in your partnerships, you feel, more alive when together with your significant other, and you are ready to go further and explore this partnership and further commit yourself to it. Also, with Mars in the 7th house, in the last few weeks of June, you will take more initiative regarding that. So, okay, with the sun there, you are present, you are fully, involved. And then with Mars, you will go even further, okay? You will step up a notch and try to suggest things to do together, initiate new plans together, okay? Any manner of carrying it further, okay, your commitment. Uranus is actually also in your 7th, and this has its ups and downs, so to speak. As we know, Uranus is the planet of the unexpected, and Uranus in the 7th can go both ways. It can bring sudden crushes, sudden, love at first sight, as we speak, or maybe it can bring sudden breakups because of dissatisfaction that was simmering below the surface, and right now is just exploding all of a sudden. You never know with Uranus. You might be tempted to go your own individual way, separate way, because with Uranus, your spirit of independence is very high. Or your partner might do that, okay? You might attract some very unusual person in your life. You might be attracted to the quirky, to the extraordinary, to the unusual. So with Uranus, you'd better choose as a partner someone who can stand alone, who is autonomous and can fully lead his own life or her own life, but nonetheless, while being independent, can still bring you this openness, this sense of being alive, this electricity, this spark, okay? Because you are looking right now for the spark. A boring partnership won't do, okay? Nothing boring, too stale, or even too stable or too long term. This is not attractive to you right now. It has to be exciting, okay? And it also has to allow yourself the freedom that you require, that you crave. Okay, then we will see quite a lot of movement in your 9th house, as I said. So at the end of the month, you will feel very attracted to the idea of a holiday, of travel, as you usually are, I must say, but even more so at this moment. You have 3 planets for the time being in your 5th house, which are Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron. Okay, the 5th house, this sounds exciting because it's the house of fun, games, romance, children, sports, you name it, okay? But with Saturn and Neptune there, and Chiron too, the atmosphere in these matters is not the most joyful, because Saturn can be quite a drag. With Saturn there, we take things really seriously, okay? So no light flirting for you. If you get into a relationship, it has to be for good. Or, oh my God, what does it involve? Okay, so you are more fearful of it than you are emboldened. With Neptune in the 5, you are extremely creative. Okay, so lots of ideas, lots of inspiration. You are more easily touched also by music, by arts. You feel more sentimental as well. But Saturn there is almost stopping you from expressing it. It's like putting the brakes on whatever creativity is trying to manifest itself. And with Chiron there, this has been bothering you for quite some time, because you don't get what you expect from your love life, from your romantic contacts, actually. But the good news is that Chiron is actually leaving your 5th house this month, and it will go into your 6th. Into your 6th, it does so actually on the 19th. So for the last 10 days of the month, you will feel that the pain is taking off this romantic sector of your life, and moving on to difficulties in handling your daily schedule, okay, your daily routine. Maybe it's too much work, maybe you're a bit disorganized, maybe you develop some, a small health problem that is really preventing you from being efficient, whatever it is. Well, Chiron will come back to your fifth later on, but for the time being, we just breathe a sigh of relief. Okay, what else is there to say? The lunation, the full moon that is occurring today, is happening in your sign, in Sagittarius, okay? And it's happening opposite Uranus. So this can be a sudden development in a partnership. It can be a sudden contact with a significant other. It can be a sudden communication because Uranus is in Gemini, okay? Anyway, things are moving in that respect. So I think it takes the form of a crisis, perhaps, or a culmination. But for sure, things cannot stay the way they were. With Uranus, things are moving. Then the new moon, very appropriately, is happening in your... Am I doing right? It's happening in your 7th house. Yes, I'm right. So in your 7th house, it's a new state of things concerning a partnership. Perhaps you are striking a new partnership. Perhaps you are signing a contract of some kind. Or relationship-wise, you are ready for more commitment, or for a change for an upgrade, for a change in this situation. And then at the end of the month, you have the full moon in your 2nd house, and this is a crisis or culmination regarding your income. So perhaps a new source of income, any type of, news about your financial matters. And regarding the important dates for Sagittarius, we see that first and foremost, the 9th, we have Venus conjunct Jupiter, which is, as I said, one of the best days of the year. So with the two benefics conjunct, and it's happening in your 8th. So probably it will bring some good news regarding money, regarding a loan, or regarding a grant, or any type of money coming in. And this will make you, more optimistic about your future. Other transits for Jupiter, not really. Actually, there's a sextile from Mars happening on the 28th. And with this, you'll feel excited, more energetic, more lively, more able to act. Okay, and this more capable. And this is all good news. Okay, now on to Capricorn. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is in Aries. It doesn't move from Aries for the next 2 years or so, and Aries is Capricorn's 4th house, which means that the focus of the year, actually, and of the month, of course, is the life at home. Life at home with your family, also anything regarding roots and traditions and customs, and what makes you feel anchored within your past and your family structure. And with Saturn there, everything is quite stable, of course. And Saturn being in Aries, you are supposed to initiate things, okay? Initiate a change, perhaps. Perhaps an improvement in your living conditions, change in living quarters. Perhaps you need to move. But this, of course, we are talking about the next 2 years or so. Nothing immediate. Also in your 4th house, you have Neptune there, and also Chiron, which means that family life might be affected by some sorrow, okay? Because Neptune there can bring a bit of melancholy or sorrow. Perhaps somebody is leaving the home, perhaps leaving the nest. Perhaps your parents are going through a difficult, period. Perhaps you yourself are longing to move out and cannot right now. And then with Chiron there in the 4th, it might be that you didn't enjoy, the comfort that you're wishing for in your home, and are trying to improve your living situation, but you find it difficult right now. It might also be that your parents have been not in the greatest shape. But the good news is that Chiron is leaving the 4th to go to the 5th house. So the situation will improve. You know, your home situation will improve. Meanwhile, we have lots of planets in the 7th house and the 6th house as well. So for the first 3 weeks of the month, we have the Sun in your 6th house. This is illuminating your daily schedule, your working, schedule, type of work. So probably you will feel quite content at your work. You will have quite a packed schedule, and you will live intensely every moment of it, because you will feel quite involved with your work. And actually, also in the 6th house, you have Uranus there for the next foreseeable future, for the next 7 years. And with Uranus, there will be quite some twists and turns going on at your workplace. Perhaps you will unpredictably change your workplace or your work type of work, work routine. This, of course, will happen, will unfold over the next years, but it's something to keep in mind, okay? There can be unexpected events at your workplace. Right now, you feel quite motivated by work itself, and you identify a lot with it. And you will continue to do so in the last few days of the month, because Mars is coming into your 6th house, and it will be even more active and intense at this time. In the meantime, Mars, well, for the most part of June, is actually traversing, crossing your 5th house. And in your 5th house, Mars is actually more motivating you to look out for fun activities, developing hobbies or sports, and actually, going out and socialize, and also possibly trying to strike up friendships as, in order to improve your romantic life, meaning you're flirting a little bit, huh? Okay. You can be, uncharacteristically bold in that respect at this time. We know that Capricorns are quite serious, serious-minded, and but this time you are in a lighter, state of spirit. And actually the 7th house is heavily populated at this time, because the Sun will be going into the 7th house the last 10 days of June. Mercury is already there for the whole of June, and Venus will be there for the first half of June. Okay, and Jupiter too. Okay, so this actually is a very good omen for all your close partnerships, especially, romantic partnerships, love, relationships, because you have the two benefics there. So you have Venus and Jupiter, and actually the Sun will be joining them. So this is the best part of the year to enjoy, pleasant moments with your significant other, actually expressing your tender feelings to him or her, waxing lyrical about your love. And also just, be in good harmony with your partner, actually seeing eye to eye, understanding each other very well. So it's a great time to solve any conflicts if there were any. Okay, it's also a good time to enter a partnership. I'm saying this just in case, being it love or a business partnership. At any rate, things will will develop quite smoothly and quite harmoniously, and any legal matters too will be solved, okay, nicely, because Jupiter will be there. And what else may I say? And actually the lunations, so the full moon that is happening today on the 31st is occurring in your 12th house. So it will be like a sudden problem that is coming to your awareness, that was brewing under the surface perhaps, and all of a sudden you become conscious of it. It might be a sudden health problem because, Uranus in the 12th. And, Uranus in the 6th and the full moon in the 12th. Then the new moon is happening in your 6th house in the middle of the month. And this is a new state of affairs concerning your work life, your daily routine. Perhaps you change your schedule, your timetable, or perhaps you acquire a new pet, or perhaps, a situation concerning a pet can change. And the last full moon that is happening in the last days of June is occurring in your first house. And this is quite a culmination regarding yourself. How you think about yourself, perhaps your image, your looks, you know, making a change to your appearance, whatever it is, it's going to be an important, you know, communication regarding yourself. Okay, important dates for Capricorn. Saturn doesn't make itself any important aspects, but it receives a sextile from the Sun on the 2nd. And this is a date that where you feel put under the spotlight and actually appreciated and more successful. And what else? We have Mercury squaring Saturn on the 10th, and this is a day of intense communication, even though perhaps not going so well, unfortunately. There will be some blockages, but still communication is there. And then we have Venus trining Saturn on the 25th, and this is a day of harmonious feelings, warm affection, okay, and quite a romantic day as well. Oops, I lost my pencil. Now on to Aquarius, okay? Aquarius has two rulers, and one ruler is Saturn, is the traditional one, and the other one is Uranus, the modern ruler, which is in Gemini for the next 7 years and not budging. Okay, so Uranus in Gemini is in your 5th house. So you can look forward to 7 exciting years of creativity, self-expression, having fun, okay? Seeing a lighter and happier version of yourself when you can express all your quirkiness freely. Okay, you will attract also like-minded individuals that are a bit on the unusual side, and that can really make your life more exciting and out of the ordinary. Okay, you will break with the routine. Forget all those boring days of routine. Okay, now is the time to really shine, express yourself, let all those creative juices, you know, flow out. And on the other hand, we have Saturn, which is the traditional ruler, and Saturn is in Aries for the next 2 years or so. So for the next 2 years, it will stay in your 3rd house of learning and communication. So basically, this is of great help if you are a student, because Saturn can really focus your mind, okay? You will really concentrate on your studies, you will really memorize what you're learning, but the flip side is that it promotes a sort of negative tendency, okay? Pessimistic tendency. You tend to dwell on the negative side of things, and this is something to keep in mind and actively, you know, counteract, because of course reality is nothing that bleak. Okay, so with Saturn in the 3rd, you might start a long haul writing project. I always say that Saturn in the 3rd is a great time to start journaling, because it's a way of you know, keeping track of the details. Saturn is great for details, and in the long run, over a long period of time. And with Saturn, perseverance and constancy, you know, constant work is actually rewarded in the end. So you will be quite happy a few years from now to have gone through this project and actually have the patience and have had the patience and the rigor, you know, to actually pull it off. Also in your 3rd house, you have Neptune and Chiron, and Neptune, of course, is inspiration. So all the more reason to start a writing project. All the more reason to start communicating in a more graceful and inspired way. And with Chiron there, it's about communicating also in an empathetic way. Actually listening to other people's problems. Actually being honest about your own, okay? Because Chiron asks a lot of authenticity from us, okay? You have to be ready to expose yourself and admit to your failings, because you're a human being and nobody's perfect, and this will make you more approachable, more likable as well. And you will get to discover, you know, other people's hidden sides as well, and this is an unexpected bonus, okay? When one is sincere and honest and doesn't hold anything back, the others respond in the same way. Okay, the other houses that are really occupied this month, are the 5th and the 6th, okay? So the 5th, let's look at it. We have the Sun there for the first 3 weeks, And we have Mars there for the first few days. And of course, as I said, we have Uranus there. So with the sun in your 5th house for the first 3 weeks of June, it's a great time to just, have fun, basically. Go ahead and enjoy any hobby that of your own that you have. Go ahead and actually be, vocal about it to your friends. Don't be afraid to speak about your hobbies. Don't be afraid to speak about your quirks, about your pastimes, whatever. Go out and play. Be daring, take some risks, because the 5th is also the house of speculation. I must say, not advising you to speculate hard with big sums of money, but advising you to be more playful, okay? Be more childish. Take risks, okay? Life, we only live once, it seems. And with Mars there in the last few days of June, with Mars there, you also will take more the initiative in flirting, in reaching out, in actually stepping up, front, and putting yourself out there and being more visible. And the other planets, so Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, and also the Sun in the last 10 days of June, are in your 6th house. In your 6th house, it's all about daily routine. Nothing really exciting, but with the benefics there, you will actually get to enjoy what you're doing. You will enjoy work. You will be very efficient at it, very good at it. And with Jupiter there, you will find enough to get you, occupied and amused, especially. I think amused is the key word, because Mercury and Venus are also there. So with your sense of humor, you will find a way to really enjoy your daily activities, basically. Okay, what else? We have the lunations. So the full moon that is occurring today is occurring in your 11th house, and it's opposite Uranus. So this is quite an unusual and extraordinary full moon that will bring, or maybe has brought, some unusual event concerning a friend, concerning your circle of friends, perhaps a sudden social event that came up. Anyway, I strongly advise you to get out there and spend time with friends and socialize, because it's a great time to be seen. And the new moon that is happening in the middle of the month on the 5th, on the 15th in your 5th house. Okay, so this new moon is actually ushering in a new beginning in terms of a creative activity. You might start a new hobby, or you might just discover a kindred soul, okay, that might become a romantic interest. And on the 12th, no, what am I saying at each time? I'm confusing things. So in your 12th house, you will have the full moon that is happening at the end of the month. Okay, and this full moon in the 12th, it's sort of a crisis or culmination about a hidden aspect of yourself that is trying to come up to light. Okay, maybe a hidden, thought or ingrained opinion that you have that needs to be re-examined. So it can also, of course, be a matter of health that is coming up, because the 12th has to do with health problems. So don't hesitate to go to the doctor if needed. Important dates for Aquarius concern, of course, the dates linked to Saturn transits. So we have on the 2nd, the Sun sextiling Saturn. That puts you a bit out there and puts you under the spotlight a little bit, and you feel more self-confident, okay, more self-assertive. Also, what else? You have Mercury squaring Saturn on the 10th. That is bringing in a lot of communication. Maybe you pass an exam or so, or some sort. But of course, communication won't go smoothly, because Mercury square Saturn can bring a bit of obstacles or breaks, okay? And then Venus is sextiling Uranus on the 15th, and this is a day to enjoy, because you will feel more sociable, happier, really smiling at people, and people smile back at you. It's a day to enjoy. And on the 25th, you feel also quite a social day. You feel quite gregarious and in a good mood, because Venus is trining Saturn. And let's not forget that for the whole month, Uranus is squaring the nodes, and it's actually exact on the 12th. And Uranus squaring the nodes can actually teleport you, parachute you into a totally new environment, socially speaking. Okay, you can discover a whole circle of new friends. Actually, these new friends can be on the quirky side. Okay, not people you used to hang out with usually, and that will expose you actually to lots of the new different ideas and attitudes towards life, and this will do wonders to expand your vision of life, okay, and also to enrich your everyday, routine, because your environment will be so much more interesting all of a sudden, so much more exciting. Okay, also another Uranus transit that is of note is Uranus conjunct Ceres on the 3rd. That can be a little bit of a problem with a parent, and this can have manifested already, like for the last week or so. Okay, it can be a little bit of sparks flying because of some sort of conflict arising out of nowhere. Or it can be an unexpected harvest, like you put in the work for all this time, and all of a sudden you see the fruits of your work. Okay, so let's hope it's the latter. Last but not least, we have Pisces. And Pisces, of course, also have two rulers. We have the traditional ruler, which is Jupiter, and the modern ruler, which is Neptune. Neptune, of course, is a very slow-moving planet, and it is in Aries right now. It's not planning to get out of Aries anytime soon, so it is in Pisces' second house, which means a focus on earnings, on income, on self-value as well. And with Neptune there is some sort of confusion, some sort of fog surrounding these questions. On the one hand, maybe you feel that your income is not secure, okay? It's not stable. You don't feel you can rely on a stable source of income. And on the other hand, this also creates a sort of confusion as regard to your own self-value, self-esteem. Maybe it fluctuates. Okay. Maybe sometime you think I'm good enough, I'm worth it, I have what it takes. But then on other days you feel like despondent, like I will never rise up to the task, I'm not good enough, others are much better, some sort of self, denigrating discourse. And this is something to work on, okay, Pisces, because you're not known for the highest self-confidence, okay? So you should actively tell yourself a mantra of I'm good enough, I'm as good if not better than anyone else. Okay, so try to brainwash yourself into this. And on the other hand, the traditional ruler Jupiter is still in Cancer for this month, as it was for the last 11th. And afterwards in July, it will be in Leo. And right now in Cancer, it is in your 5th house, which of course has brought a year of very pleasant experiences, okay? Lots of creativity. Anyway, we know that Pisces is a very creative sign, a very sensitive and imaginative sign. And with Jupiter there, all this imagination could really be transposed into perhaps artistic creations, perhaps artistic, not artistic, but creative, being creative in your everyday life, okay? Being creative with whatever you have at hand. Okay, because you can be creative in any surroundings, in any context. And with Jupiter there, you certainly enjoy the process a lot. You might have discovered new hobbies. You might have, allowed yourself to feel free and playful and express the innocent and childish side of yourself. Okay. It also probably have presented you with lots of opportunities for flirting, for, having an interesting romantic life, so to speak. And your 5th house is quite animated, I must say, this month too, because we have Mercury, Venus for the first half of the month, and the Sun for the last week of the month, last 10 days of the month as well. So we have the 3 benefics, the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter in your 5th house. So what else can we expect? I can only congratulate you for it. So you might spend a very pleasant month of June, basically. Already with Mercury in your 5th, you're thinking creatively all the time, okay? Probably your mind is not really at work, but there's a good side to it because anyway, who cares, you know? Let's have fun, some fun in life from time to time. Maybe you are on holiday, and rightfully so, you enjoy your holiday fully. Venus is in your 5th as well for the first 2 weeks, and this is making you even more, you know, popular, creative, as I said, and actually attractive, very much attractive. You will feel that all people's eyes are on you, and probably you will receive lots of signs of interest from other people. And also, another house that is quite well occupied this month is the 4th house, because the Sun is there for the first 3 weeks. Uranus is there for the next 7 years, and Mars will be there in the last days of June. Okay, so with the Sun in your 4th, you are very much focused on your home life for the first 3 weeks. You feel like resting a little bit, developing and strengthening ties with your family, reflecting on your past perhaps, and lots of memories coming up, because Cancer is a very, you know, retentive sign that is focused on the past. And with the Sun there, we can really, you know, think about it. But right now, actually, I wasn't meaning the Sun in Cancer. I was meaning the Sun in the 4th house, and Cancer is attached to the 4th house. So the first 3 weeks are really concentrated around your home life. Okay, you can spend your time redecorating, trying to make your surroundings more comfortable, rest, and, you know, recovering. And at the end of the month, with Mars coming into your 4th house, it will be, you know, you will take a more active approach. Perhaps that will be the day when you will act upon any wish to move out, change address, renovate your home, you name it, whatever. And with Uranus in your 4th, I must say that the next 7 years will be quite unpredictable in terms of your living, you know, condition, situation. You can be maybe looking forward to lots of moves, actually, changing addresses. So there might be some instability in that respect. Also, your situation, the situation of your parents might change a lot, or your relationship to your parents might change a lot. So there is an instability, a bit of a nomad life, perhaps, that is coming for you. But this can only add to your natural creativity, okay? Because changing environment will also bring about new ideas and new inspiration. Just a thought. Okay, we have the infamous trio of Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron in the 2nd house for quite some more time. So Saturn in the 2nd can be a sense of dissatisfaction with your income. Perhaps you feel that you don't ever earn enough money, you are worth more, and who am I to tell otherwise? But and with Neptune there, as I said, there is this feeling of insecurity regarding your income. So you will probably be quite motivated to work hard to stabilize your financial situation. And this is also happening this month, but there is no special trigger, okay, to make us worry about a financial problem this month. Chiron is actually going out of your 2nd and into your 3rd. So actually this will take, this will bring down a notch the intensity of the worry regarding your income, because now you will feel more of a difficulty perhaps in expressing yourself. Probably you'll find it hard to overcome your natural shyness and speak in front of people. Perhaps you will have trouble finding the proper words, to express your thoughts. But perhaps a sibling actually will go through a difficult situation, might be ill, or you might have a conflict with. You see, with Chiron, there's always a sore point that's being triggered, okay? And in the third house, it's regarding communication, learning, and the relationships with siblings. The current full moon that is occurring today, it's happening in your 10th house. So, and it's opposite Uranus, as I said. So, of course, this is a perhaps not necessarily unexpected, but is a radical change in your public image, your career, professional life. Okay, so perhaps some unexpected news have reached you concerning a change in your career, a job you've been applying to, or I don't know, a sudden. If you're a student, perhaps you're going on holidays all of a sudden. It's a drastic change that's coming about, you know, quite out of the blue. And then in the middle of the month, you have a new moon in your 4th house. So this is a new situation at home. It can concern a family member, it can concern a parent, or it can concern the home itself, or you are settling in and make it your own, you know, make your home your own by redecorating, for instance. And last but not least, at the end of the month, we have a lunation that is happening in your 11th house. And this is a full moon. So this is a crisis or culmination concerning a friend or a friendship or perhaps a social event you are invited to. Okay. As for important dates for Pisces, we have to look at both rulers. So Neptune and Jupiter themselves are not making any important transits, but they receive transits. For instance, the Sun is squaring Neptune on the 25th. And this is a day where you are put more under the spotlights. You feel more willful and more clear, you know, about what you should be doing. Mercury is also squaring Neptune on the 4th. So it's much earlier. And this is a day of a little bit of confusion. You feel actually encouraged to speak up, to communicate, but the message won't come through, you know, clearly. So expect some misunderstandings there. Also, we have on the 9th this terrific day with Venus conjunct Jupiter, the two benefics together. And this is, especially for you, it's going to be a day of romance, happiness, warm feelings, you know, expressing sincere, you know, love feelings to someone, or, you know, simply enjoying yourself with Venus. And also Venus is trining Neptune on the 17th, and again, a very romantic day, a very pleasant day, and relaxing as well, because Venus trine, you know, is taking things easy. Okay, guys, this is what I had for you for the month of June. I hope you were satisfied. I hope you appreciated this forecast, and I hope it was useful to you. And if it is, I would really very much appreciate that you like this video, and perhaps you share it with other people, or you comment down below about your own experiences with these lunations and how it turned out for you. I'm actually extremely interested in hearing from you, because this way we can really compare my forecast and the real, you know, events in life. And accuracy is what I am aiming for, so it's actually my goal. So please feel free and comment and tell me when I'm right or wrong, or if everything happened in an entirely different way that I didn't foresee at all. Okay, so see you soon for the next video, and have a nice month of June. Bye bye.